Are we? Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
heyo! It's there will be duds. My thing was way behind. I am your co-host, J Spot Jack Cheese, and with me, as always,
As always, I am Nick, aka Dr. Funk on Twitch.
And as
kick
always, I'm
fucking
Travis,
ass. It's
aka the
there will
Super
be
General.
duds. And joining us today for the first time is Kelly. Say hi. Say hi.
Yellow. It's the second time.
It's kind of the second time, technically.
Oh yeah, I mean she is like
She jumped in.
We have heard her voice on
Yeah.
a little bit before.
Man, that glare is crazy. I don't know. It was something weird.
That's nuts.
Oh yeah, it was just you and Moose talking for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like helping me because he was like asking me questions.
Yeah.
First time as an official guest. I guess.
You have a name tag on the stream, so it's official now.
That's official.
Yeah.
That's our process of doing that.
Yeah.
Oh hey, welcome another version of Hoss HO03012S. That's still a thing that's going on, so welcome to the stream.
Yeah, you saw that whole we talked about that whole like thread, like it's just somebody being like toxic to somebody else. I thought it was just some weird bot shit, but
there was actually someone named Hoss 0312 who got targeted, and then like they just made dummy accounts, and like I think he ended up like deleting his Twitch account. Like he stopped.
Yeah.
He just quit because like it was
Bullshit.
so bad, which is like really unfortunate.
Yeah, and anyway, this week we all watched a movie courtesy of Kelly. Well, she didn't make it, but she suggested it.
Wait, you made this?
But we also did watch some other stuff.
Did other stuff.
Yeah, or did other stuff. I had one I to bring in, but it was kind of riding on Dagan being here, so I'll just hold off.
It's not something necessarily that I watched, but I figured we could also use this portion of the show to do some like in the news type stuff. Did you see that they casted the Super Mario Brothers movie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, TJ and I talked about this a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't know if we wanted to like go down that well of discussion, but
I think it's
I'm
not
open to
bad,
it. Yeah.
really.
I kind of like that. I kind of like that idea. Yeah. Other than Chris Pratt, like that one's very weird to me. The more I think about it, the rest of them I don't hate though.
No, the rest I think are fine. Yeah.
Doesn't he play Mario?
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, he plays Mario.
Yes, yeah.
Which
Who do you think would be better for Mario?
Oh, Charles Martinet? I don't know. Like I don't really have another option.
Charles Martinet is listed as like surprise cameos, which I think when I initially heard the news, I was like, Chris Pratt, like Charles Martinet has been doing it for like 30 years now at this point. Like,
yeah,
what a slight.
To be fair, he's only had like 3 lines over like That's 40 true. Years. So, like, it doesn't.
No, I wouldn't.
Maybe he's like so like. He's so deep in it that he's just been perfecting those like 3 phrases this whole time, and he can't do anything else.
He went into the audition, and they hand him the script, and he's looking at it, and he's just like sweating bullets, and he's just like
the paper's shaking.
Wahoo! He can't do anything else. It's like that
was really
Dexter,
good. Charles.
Where all he knows how to say is omelette du fromage.
Yeah.
That was really good, but let's start from the top of page 32. Wahoo! No, Charles, the top of page 32.
Also, this Wikipedia article for the untitled Mario film, after the critical and commercial failure of the 1993 film, excuse me, maybe to you, Wikipedia.
That's a cult classic.
Dennis Hopper as Bowser?
That could almost go into my horror cup for this.
I mean, yeah, the Eraserhead baby. The first thing I thought when like Henry's head falls off and it's like the little Eraserhead baby's head in there, I was like, oh, that's one of the Goombas.
Yeah.
Goomba.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't actually pick Charles Martinet to play it because, like, yeah, kind of like what you guys were saying is like his voice works for like a Nintendo game where you just have to hear them like and woohoo, like making like noises and saying like here we go. But I feel like if he did that voice for a full ass like 90-minute movie, it would get so grating and annoying.
Yeah.
Um,
The thing that's kind of like throwing me off is that he already did the Lego movie, so it's kind of like I
Oh.
don't know, it's almost like too much. I know they're trying to go for like the star power draw,
Yeah.
but like
yeah.
cuz like I mean, I think Jack Black as Bowser is cool,
Uh-huh.
but it doesn't necessarily like fit with like my
Like
what
who
I
you'd
think of
imagine.
yeah, but I'm not to say that I can think of somebody off the top of my head, but yeah, actually you should actually just read off the rest of the cast that they've announced, by the way.
Yeah.
Go
So
for
for
it.
Princess Peach, we've got Anya Taylor-Joy, who
Mhm.
I have not even like actively. I've just never seen anything that she's in, but it's like
Oh.
she feels like an actress that is just like is inescapable on everything. So just like
King's Gambit. You
Oh,
should watch
she's in-
King's Gambit. It's pretty good.
Is
Yeah,
it
you
good?
haven't seen. You
Oh,
haven't
she's
seen
in The Witch.
or-
I've seen The
Yeah.
Witch.
Oh, okay,
Literally
yeah.
her
She's
first thing.
Yeah, she's one of those who like, yeah, she's always been good in like pretty much everything I've seen her in. So, and is like kind of like standard, like decent
I think
young actress. I'm like, yeah, okay, Princess Peach, sure.
I think for some reason in my brain, it's like John Travolta's Adele Manzim saying of
Oh,
I hear Anya Taylor-Joy, and for some reason my brain is like Marjorie Taylor Greene, like the
Oh,
the
no.
like
Oh
QAnon
no.
politician.
oh no.
And for some reason, like hearing those, maybe it's just like the hyphenated last name, the two things just cross in like my brain, and I'm like, ew, her. But it's completely
You don't have
different.
to You don't have to say QAnon, you can just say Republican.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Charlie Day as Luigi seems. I'm fine with that.
I think
Yeah.
that's a funny one, but again, that doesn't seem like it almost seems like Chris Pratt and Charlie Day could be flip-flopped.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
thinking Chris Pratt and Jack
Hmm.
Black should be switched.
Yeah.
That
could see
yeah,
that,
I
too.
could see Chris Pratt as a way
Yeah,
better.
actually. Yeah.
Also, Jack Black could have been Wario.
Oh shit.
Jack
That's
Black
what his
would've been
IMDb picture
Oh
looks
yeah,
like.
that is perfect.
Because he
That-
looks
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Although I did see a tweet that said that Connor O'Malley should have played Waluigi, which would be amazing.
I can imagine
Or Bowser.
Waluigi with like blood pouring down his face. Like, come on, Howard. Like,
You want to play
Howard
tennis,
Schultz.
Daisy?
You know, you know what I was thinking the other day is that that he is kind of like the Robin Williams for the Zoomer age. He's like,
Connor O'Malley.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
kind of that like
But-
like just spewing out like random shit, like going from topic to topic really quickly and like, yeah.
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 We got Keegan Michael Key as Toad, which
Sure.
this is like it's hard to like imagine what this is gonna sound like because I'm already so informed by how the video games sound that like is
Yeah.
Keegan Michael Key just gonna be like I'm Toad, like is he gonna do that? Yeah, it's like well
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah,
even,
no.
it doesn't even matter if it's Keegan Michael Key or anyone else because like that's the Toad voice. Who cares
Right.
who's doing it?
It's gonna.
I kind of think that it might be it's gonna be more towards the like weren't him and Jordan Peele in
Toy Story 4.
like
Toy
Toy
Story?
Story 4.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be maybe more like that, like normal Keegan Michael Key type
Mhm.
stuff, not like regular like kind of reserved Toad. Hi,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
happy-go-lucky Toad.
Okay.
I do think it's funny that he's bald and he's playing Toad, and also he's maybe the tallest member of the cast and he's playing Toad,
Yeah.
who is the shortest. It's kind of like that thing where there's like a really big guy and they call him Tiny or something. He's
yeah,
got like
yeah.
Yeah.
the name tag. Yeah.
All right, we got Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. Which
That's another one that's like I don't know, they all seem like they fit perfectly, but then you think about it for more than 1 second and you're like, wait, like Donkey Kong laughing like
He grabs you
Yeah.
and he's like, like
Yeah. I just see like now I just see Seth Rogen's laugh as like stoner laugh. It's like typecast as stoner laugh. Like that's how stoners laugh. So like now in my head, Donkey Kong is like a stoner. Which I guess he lives in the jungle, so maybe he just like grows pot out there in the jungle with his
yeah.
Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong, which seems like I don't know, like that seems like a C-list Mario character. Like
it is interesting that Cranky Kong, is gonna be in it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did see that because we actually watched the Nintendo Direct that this was like announced on, and they showed like him and two other dudes who I was like, I don't know who those guys are. Why are you showing me these guys? It was like some random guy, Fred Armisen, some random guy, and I was like, oh cool, Fred Armisen.
I recognize the one dude's name. I think he's just a voice actor. It looks like he's the Kevin Michael Richardson guy.
Yeah, so Kevin Michael Richardson is Kamek, which I think is is that one of the Koopa kids or like?
No, it's like the
wizard.
The wizard that like blue hat.
Blue hat.
He's like a big character in the Paper Mario games. It's like his like Bowser's like sidekick pretty much. Or at least in the first one. I'm not sure about Thousand Year Door. When I say, you notice when I say Paper Mario games, I like in my head, I was just thinking of the first two. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
that's all that exists in my head. Yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Sebastian Maniscalco as Foreman Spike. I don't know who Foreman Spike is.
That one that one I'm thinking is it just one of the spiky Koopas?
No. It's some weird character. I saw this. It was like it's some weird character that you've never seen.
Oh,
like
no.
He's like in the OG like Mario or something like that.
Yeah, no, I totally recognize him from Super Mario 3. Yeah, no, he is just like a mini boss, another like C tier. Like why him? But yeah, no, I totally recognize that guy.
Like the NES Super Mario 3.
Yeah.
Where? I don't think he's in that.
You don't? Maybe it's one of the Super Nintendo ones, but I definitely recognize this dude from a pixelated 2D.
Yeah, he makes his appearance in Wrecking Crew, which is like an NES game. Crew 90. He looks like Waluigi, really. Like
what's kind of
wait? Oh, I think we're looking at different people then. Weird.
What's kind of throwing me is that this guy is going by 3 names, and 2 of the 3 names that he's going by, Michael Richardson, are like maybe shouldn't go by those ones because isn't that the Kramer guy? Isn't his name Michael Richardson?
Michael Richards.
Rick Richards. Okay.
Yeah.
Still, it has shades of Michael Richards, so I would maybe I'd drop one of those names if it was me.
So that's the casting for the Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, I to like sort of amend or like not amend, but refine my initial take is like I feel like none of them are like kind of like what Travis was saying that it all just seems a little off. None of them I would say would be like my number one picks, but I also don't like hate any of them.
And then
except maybe Chris Pratt.
When you try to think of who would be better, it's like I don't know.
Right, if you're casting like non-voice actors, like normal live action actors in a Mario movie, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like someone like Fred Armisen would maybe make a better Mario, So, like I feel like Mario needs to have more of like Chris Pratt's like he's got that like leading man strong voice, and like I feel like Mario needs to have a bit more of like a
Charlie Day.
Yeah. Maybe Glenn Howerton could be Mario.
I was just gonna say they should just do the cast of Sunny.
Honestly,
Peaches.
Peaches D, and it's just like even try to make it like Mario. It's actually just an episode of
Danny DeVito is Bowser.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was another one. When we started talking about the Mario thing, I found a hypothetical like cast listing for a Legend of Zelda.
Oh yeah, read that off because like that also wasn't that bad.
It was
for the lead.
it was Chris Hemsworth as Link,
Just like, eh.
and then it was Elizabeth Olsen as Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson as Ganondorf. And
bad.
then
I really like that
Actually,
one. Actually,
yeah.
And then what was the last one?
It was Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito as Tingle.
As Tingle.
Is this
That's
for a live
right.
action?
Yeah, no, it's for an animated.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
thought,
I want to see Danny DeVito in like little tiny spandex pants and like
yeah.
If you're doing Majora's Mask one, yeah,
Yeah.
like his little spandex thing from It's Always Sunny. He'd be like, "I'm the map man. I make maps and I go all over and I draw you maps."
Kulu Limpa.
Yeah. That's like, man, video game adaptations of movies. It's like it's so hard to do. I don't know if it's ever really been done well.
I'm
or
trying.
Like
I'm trying to
correctly.
think. Yeah,
Other
like
than the Super Mario Brothers movie from 1993.
That's such a like. That's
Where's
its
this
own
one?
thing, but like it's more like I like that, but not because I think it's like a
Yeah.
good movie. You know?
That movie, the Super Mario Bros. 1993, and you can even look at the box art. That's like the equivalent of like playing Mega Man and then looking at the Mega Man 1 box art,
Mhm.
where it's do you know what I'm talking about?
The
The Mega Man 1 box art is like a 40-year-old man holding like a laser pistol.
Oh, okay.
It's
I
like-
get what you mean with like old. Yeah.
It's like it's like that, where it's like expectation versus reality, like almost like reversed. So it's like you play Mega Man
Yeah.
and he's like a cute little guy. He's like, he shoots his little gun, and then the box art is just like a 45-year-old dude with a gun.
Yeah. There was one that just came to mind, but it was another one that's like not actually like good, but I enjoy it. Oh, Mortal Kombat movies.
Yeah.
Like I would maybe argue that like the first Mortal Kombat movie is like
Okay.
good or like
Okay.
decent, like for being like a summer blockbuster movie. But like I like all of them. I even like the newer one. Not as much, just because a big reason I like the other ones is nostalgia for sure.
Right.
But I liked all of them. But yeah, I think the
Normality.
first one's pretty good. Yeah. The second one, Annihilation, is that one could go in the dud cup. That one's pretty.
I would
pretty
love
terrible.
for that to go on the Dud Cup.
That would be pretty good.
But yeah, I
And
feel
then-
like, every couple years, like a viral video on YouTube will go off, and it's like some fan made trailer for like a Legend of Zelda movie. And
Mhm.
it's just like people get so hyped about it, and it's like it's so hard to do. I don't. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Like what game do you even pick from? Do they try to pick from all the games and then they like satisfy nobody?
I mean, it's
yeah.
really hard for Link too because he doesn't speak.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least in Mario games, he says, "It's a me."
He says stuff, so it's like
Yeah.
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 But yeah,
all
Link
you
is
have from
purely
Link is
like
grunting.
you are. Yeah, the Link. Link is one of those characters that like he's an avatar for the player. It's not like Mario
Right.
is kind of his own character.
It's
Mhm.
you go
and
into,
those are
you go
always
into the
hard to do.
casting and you're just like
Yeah. That's the audition.
It's Charles Martinet. He's like, I'm gonna get this one.
Okay, this one is another one that like I think is actually pretty decent, but I think also like isn't received too well. Now, it's got really bad reviews, but I think the Silent Hill movie isn't half bad. I think that's pretty decent.
Oh, I liked that. I thought it was scary.
Like I think that's actually I think it's pretty spooky. I think when it goes for like the intense like showing those like the demons, I don't know, there's some really intense imagery in
Mm.
the Silent Hill games.
yeah.
Welcome
oh yeah.
to the pod, Dagan. I don't know if I should bring him in like that or maybe we'll just wait for him to. Oh, there he is.
Just keep talking.
Yeah.
Are you talking about just the first Silent? Isn't there
The
aren't there
first one.
multiple Silent
Yeah.
Hill movies?
There's at least 2. I've seen the second one and that was terrible. It was so
Oh,
bad.
I've only seen the first one, I think.
But first one's pretty decent.
Same
And then like
with-
do you count the Pokemon movies? I mean, like that's technically, but like it's a little different.
I guess
'cause
since
it's like
it's
an
still
anime.
animated, like I guess
And it's
translating a series from video game to live action, I guess, is
Mhm.
like I feel like the Metroid games would make a great sci-fi film, like based on like maybe the Metroid Prime trilogy, but
That'd be cool.
it's just like for some reason like translating video games to film is just so difficult. Like the Resident Evil movies.
I was
Where it's
just
like-
gonna bring that up.
That's another one that like I love those movies, but they're not
I
good.
really like them.
Like that is pure like ironic enjoyment, or like I don't know.
The first one is like, okay, I can see it, but then after that, they get
The first three.
like as
Okay.
disconnected as the games are. Like where it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
we're just making shit up at this point.
Yeah.
It's like it wouldn't be a big deal if they didn't try to create some semblance of like connectivity
But-
between them, and there's just none besides like characters. There's none.
The great thing about that series is that the world ends in the second movie, and there's like 7 movies in that series.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's very like Fast and the Furious, like
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, we're gonna make one of these, or Mission Impossible, where it's I mean, not to the extreme of like, oh, everybody dies, but we're gonna bring them all back for the next movie, basically.
Right.
But like,
Mhm.
it is this thing of like, oh, we have one movie and it was really well received. Let's do another one,
Mhm.
and then
Mhm.
okay, yeah, and now that we're doing the 5th one, let's just fucking do one of these every 2 years. We might as well at this point. Tom Cruise is in, Vin Diesel's in, everybody's in. Let's just do it.
That's like a lot of TV shows. They should have stopped after like season 1, maybe 2. And then they get
Yeah.
like 13, 14 seasons in, and it's just like, what is even going on?
Grey's
That-
Anatomy.
Supernatural.
that
Mm.
happened with Dexter, I
You.
believe. Like I
Yeah.
remember like the
Oh.
Dexter series finale and the Breaking Bad series finale. I think happened on the same day. And
Oh,
like,
really?
the Dexter series finale was like so reviled by because I never really watched the show, but I knew like in its initial couple seasons, like people were like, oh yeah, Dexter is like a great show. It's about a
Mhm.
serial killer who like, but he only kills bad guys or whatever, and hiding his identity. But apparently the series finale is like so unlike the character that they started with
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I think it's called like the Flanderization effect. Everything comes back to The Simpsons, where it's like
Yeah.
basically the character becomes a like satirical version of the character that they started out as.
Yeah. It's that one definitely could have ended a couple seasons.
But not they're
earlier,
doing like a
but-
limited series of it now.
And I gotta say, I'm excited for that.
Maybe they're
I-
gonna call that the
the
gas
trail-
leak
like,
year.
Yeah, maybe. I'm fingers crossed, but like trailers it looks like it could be good. It could be a little redemptive, but I'm not totally sold. I just have hope that it could be like good again. But yeah, those last 2 seasons especially were garbage. A lot of people say after season 4, which is half of the show, because that show
Oh,
is 8
really?
seasons. Yeah, a lot of people say season 4 was like the last good one, and I will say season 4 is the best season for sure.
Okay.
But I think the next couple seasons are pretty decent. I think 7 is where it takes a real dive. Yeah.
It's funny because it's like we're watching Catwoman. It's like 2004 is back because
Yeah.
like, Dexter's getting a thing coming back. There's like a new like Sopranos prequel coming out with James Gandolfini's
Oh, yeah.
son playing like a young Tony.
Oh,
Soprano.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's
I
his
didn't know
son.
that was his son. Oh,
Yeah.
that's the
Which,
Many
like, he-
Saints of Newark.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
Sopranos is another show that I really feel like I need to watch, even though I've seen the
Same.
series finale or I've seen like how it ends and like
Mm-hmm.
that shit, but I still think it's worth a watch.
Yeah, same. I've never watched it, but always been on my list. I know I need to get around to it.
Also, The Matrix.
Ooh.
Gotta re.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Is that like the
getting a
original
remake
story or a
getting
continuation?
It's continuation.
Hmm.
It
'Cause
looks
it's-
like, I don't know. It's actually I'm really interested to see, like, just based off of how Revelations ended and or is it Revolutions? I can never remember.
I think it's
that.
Revolutions.
I think it's Revolutions.
Yeah.
I've only
Revelations
really seen
feels more
parts of the first movie.
proper.
I haven't seen like the whole trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Wait, you've seen parts of the first one? I can
think
forgive saying 2 or 3, but like
Fair.
it was
the
one
first
of those
one is-
movies that was like when it was on TV, I would watch it when it was on TV.
Oh, okay.
okay.
One of those.
I
So
really
you know,
like the
it's-
idea of doing the trilogy.
I did
and the
just find
Animatrix
the
and the lead up
like
to the
I
new
think I
one.
told you that I found like the Blu-ray box set that's like the 3 movies, Animatrix, and like
Yeah.
another like bonus disc of other
Speed
shit.
Racer.
Speed. Yeah.
That I actually like Speed Racer.
Is that with Aaron Paul?
Emil Hirsch.
In it? Yeah, Emil Hirsch
Isn't
is the
there a
main
Wachowski's movie with Aaron Paul in it?
character. I'm not sure.
Oh, I don't know.
That doesn't sound. I don't know. Maybe there's one of them that I'm forgetting, but I don't know. I mean, yeah. Oh, the new Matrix. It's like with how the last one ended, and the trailer for the new one. I'm like the way that trilogy ends is kind of it's a pretty definitive way of like, this is the end. So I don't know. And the trailer doesn't really like say one way or not like how it is continuing, So I don't know. I'm really curious to see where it goes.
Lawrence Fishburne isn't credited in it. Well,
No.
unless there's a reason for that, because I haven't seen the other 2 movies.
No, well, see, they have a dude in the trailer
Who's like a
who is,
surrogate
like,
Morpheus kind of thing.
very clearly, but he's like younger. His name's Yahya Abdul Mateen. He's
Surrogate Morpheus is my new rap name. Also,
but yeah, he's like way younger than Lawrence Fishburne, especially would be now. But he's clearly supposed to be Morpheus.
Also,
I don't know.
My only complaint is that like I wish that Keanu Reeves would just cut his hair already. Like,
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like, in my brain, it's just like they're just inserting John Wick in all of these franchises, like Cyberpunk 2077 or 37, whatever that's just John Wick.
Oh, 2077. Yeah.
Looking at the Matrix.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just John Wick. Like, I don't know. I think it's been like 6 years now. It's time.
Speaking as an old man with long hair, don't cut your hair, Keanu.
Who was literally a John Wick surrogate in
yeah.
Oh,
Postmortem.
shit. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I prefer him with short hair too, unless it's the
At least for like the Neo
movies.
character,
Yeah.
He's like always had short hair or long hair, except for like Speed.
And the Matrix. Which
And
is
the
what
Matrix.
this movie is.
In
But
Bill and Ted.
then he
Did have
grows
long
it
hair in
out.
Bill and Ted.
He has long hair in Bill
Yeah.
and Ted, yeah.
Okay.
He's got long hair in
I couldn't
The
take the new
Replacement.
Bill and Ted poster seriously because I'm like, it's just John Wick.
I think Red Letter Media like did a review of that, and they kind of like said that like they were talking about like when the Matrix came out, it was like hard to take Keanu Reeves seriously because he was in like bro movies like Point Break and Bill and Ted, and now that the new Bill and Ted is out, he's associated with like the Matrix and John Wick, and it's hard to take him as like a comedic actor anymore.
Yeah, it's funny.
Because like that's exactly how it is. But yeah, but I like the new Bill and Ted. Fine.
Speaking
Wait,
of
Point Break is a bro movie?
Is what?
Is Point Break a bro movie?
Yeah, I mean it's a
Yeah.
romance movie at least.
Kind of.
It's not a bro movie in the way that Bill and Ted is. It's not like as silly as that, but it's not a like sort of deep metaphorical sci-fi action in the way that the Matrix is.
Hey,
The
Travis.
Matrix is a lot more serious of a movie than.
Can I piss you
I
off
thought it was
even
pretty
further?
deep.
What?
I haven't seen
You
Point
do
Break.
every time I speak to you.
Oh.
I haven't seen Point Break.
Oh wow. I mean, that
dang.
doesn't piss me off. It really what it is when you say this stuff, it doesn't really like it just spikes my like empathy like meter like way up because I just feel bad for you. Like, it's
Oh,
not
I
about
see.
me.
I see. I see.
You're really just hurting yourself.
Hold on, rearranging our tags. Hey, look at that, and there we go. Perfect.
Hey,
What's up, Dagan?
hey, hey, what's up? Speaking of bromance, here's Dagan.
Can we do a clap for Dagan? You're muted, Dagan,
Sure.
by the way. Also,
Yeah.
he's still talking. You're muted.
No, he's doing like the Robin
Yeah,
Williams
I
thing
think
where
he's
doesn't
doing the
talk.
like.
He's like fake talking while
Is
he's
this-
muted too.
Is this a bit?
too.
This is amazing.
I don't like how well Travis can just call out.
What the fuck?
Oh, your audio's bad, Dagan.
Yeah. All I heard was my
Or is
name,
that-
and you
Or
sounded
is that
super
also
drunk.
a bit?
Like a drunk robot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sound like Chappie.
Oh, oh no. Have you messed with your audio settings since you last did this?
No,
Oh no.
Just your internet. Well, you were talking shit. Carry on.
still terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just choppy.
Yeah,
it's Chappie.
it's choppy chappy.
Are you connected to Isaiah's Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like actually using like a green screen to make it look like he's in his house, but he's actually in
Yeah.
Isaiah's room.
Yeah.
Kind of looks like Isaiah's room.
The video is coming through good.
Yeah, video looks fine.
Yeah, video's fine.
Yeah, I don't know what else it would be.
It's-
I have all my shit.
You
It's-
sound like,
it's like
you
you're-
have one of those like
Yeah.
neck things.
Oh no.
Yeah. Or I think it's like your audio is being stretched out.
It's
Yeah.
it's like
It's
you're speaking at
slowing it
0.75
down and turning
speed.
it more of
maybe
Just
check your
Dagan-
Discord settings.
Just a freebie. Can you for don't smoke ads? Just can you give us one of those? Can you give us a read for like not don't smoke? Even though you smoke frequently on the podcast. But
I
for the
for 30 years.
That's pretty good.
I don't
The-
suggest you do it or you end up sounding like me.
the funny thing is that if he's recording his audio, it's just gonna sound like he's talking normally, and
Yeah.
we're all laughing at him. Just
I'm gonna have to like replicate the effect in like the
Yeah.
audition that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'd maybe like unplug your mic and try and plug it back in, or like, oh, he's deafened now.
You hear me?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
maybe a little better. Maybe slightly.
what were you saying, by the way? What did you say about Travis?
I said I don't like how well you can call out my bits.
Oh, okay. I just know you.
Oh, but it wasn't a bit. It's just your audio's fucking up.
It was for like until I unmuted myself.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
You sound
To be fair-
exhausted. Like you sound like you just ran a marathon.
yeah, you sound like a tired
No,
robot.
I unmuted myself.
I mean, yeah. To
Yeah,
be fair,
I'm
that's a standing Dagan like bit. Just like it's kind of repetitive.
Yeah.
Wow, he's calling it stale.
your favorite comedy.
This is
All right, I'm gonna just disconnect. I'm gonna leave the call and try to rejoin.
Okay.
I'll leave my recording going though.
Okay.
okay. So he can talk shit in the
Yeah, we
background.
don't want to miss all this gold.
I thought he
Yeah.
was gonna be like
I guess don't mess with the.
that was very
I'm just gonna hide the.
I don't
times.
want to be more energy right there at the end.
I don't want to be around anymore.
Yeah, that. Damn it!
Uh,
I always misquote it, and it's
I
my
don't
favorite
wanna
bit.
be around. Boo. I was just gonna hop out for a second. I guess we can just kind of procrastinate until he gets back in.
We can talk about how Point Break is pretty deep.
Hey, we could let's. I mean, I'm sure we'll trim that out too, but we could just like go into our break, and then our break segment can be us trying to get Dagon shit figured out.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So what?
Oh no, just go ahead.
Okay. So after that cool discussion about movie news without any interruptions, we're gonna take a break before we move on to our feature discussion. So see you after this, gang. Segue. So now we are back, and speaking of shitty adaptations, we all watched Catwoman from 2004, directed by Rice Pitoff.
He does have a first name.
No, I was like Rice Pilaf, like a dish.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Oh, it's not a Dragon Ball thing.
Myself out.
Yeah. And it tells the story of not Selena Kyle, a not cat burglar, as she gains superpowers, I guess, because that's what happens in Catwoman. I know, I said not Selena Kyle.
Oh, okay, sorry.
A not cat burglar, but somebody who actually, as they always have, just has superpowers. Because that's because if you wear a costume, you have to have superpowers. You can't just be a cat burglar who's just like really agile and stuff. You have to have superpowers because this is 2004. And she works at a fashion company, and like there's like makeup and stuff. So I when we have guests on, I usually like to let them kind of take the lead. So Kelly, if you want to start on your just kind of like initial thoughts on the movie, I guess.
This is going to be very interesting because she is going to land very differently than the rest of us.
Yeah,
I think I am too. So
okay,
go ahead.
I thought it was kind of like a classic, like it was kind of Spider-Man-esque to me. Like she starts out and she has a good heart, but not really any like ability to do any good. And then, something happens to her and a creature or something like puts their power into her. And then now, like, she has to kind of have this internal struggle with, like, her goodness versus, like, the power side of it. And, like, you can abuse that and steal and get what you want. I don't know how to start this off, but...
Okay.
I think we all put our power into her, if you know what I'm saying, right, fellas?
I don't... No, not really.
Oh.
I guess technically everything Kelly just said is true.
It's funny watching you guys all like to use very appropriate language. You guys are all ready to pounce. Like as she's talking, you're all like,
yeah. As she was saying that, I was in my head. I was going.
I also. It is funny that this is our. It's so It's funny that our first episode was cats, and then we're already circling back to cats.
I put that down too. That I like that we have a good cat-centric movie per capita for our podcast so far.
There will be cats.
But you always hate the cat movies.
Speaking of cats, though, like one of my notes was when did it become like a cultural norm or a theatrical or movie norm to make cats like why are cats sexy? Like why is that always like a thing? Like in Cats the movie, the cats are sexy
because they're like slinky and sultry and like aloof.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're gonna have a sexy house animal, it's gonna be a cat, I guess.
Yeah,
dogs don't fit.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some sexy no.
Dog. Yeah, the alternate universe where Dogs the musical and they all just like have red rockets the whole time. It's just like
yeah. I mean, actually, that's a fair point. Like that is a pretty like sexual thing.
Just
out there.
Yeah, I like I was kind of getting at in my, my synopsis or whatever, that like I came away from this with a real sense of like, I mean, the obvious answer is to cash in on a known property, but it's like, and I'm all for like, making changes to the source material, but like if you have a character that's not the same character, a completely different person, even before she becomes Catwoman, she has superpowers that she gets from cats. She's not whereas sure, okay, sorry that's the contention.
Well, he's like a special cat. He's like an immortal cat.
My point is that Selena Kyle doesn't get superpowers from a fucking cat or multiple cats. She's just a cat burglar. That's why she's called Catwoman. And like, just it's like, why make it Catwoman? Other than again, yes, I know it's to cash in on a known property.
They should have called it Cats Period Woman.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Yeah, there you go.
I think that would have been a drastically different movie if they called it Cat's Period Woman. Like that's
not the word period, the dot. God damn it!
Like a verb, like that's a verb.
So I'd never seen this before, and so I didn't know that it was she got superpowers. I thought it was Selena Kyle cat burglar. So at the beginning, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. She has a different career, but she's still poor, so she's gonna get into robbing places so she can get money and be successful somehow. And then, when the cat burped on her and gave her the superpowers, I was like, oh, this is where that's going. So then, and that was, I don't know. I don't want to rip this movie apart too much, but it was tough to watch, and that's why I fell asleep.
I also love that, like it's like that classic New York City. This is what a poor person's apartment looks like, and it's huge.
I made that comment,
and it still costs $1,500 a month, or that's probably undershooting it. It still costs $4,000 a month.
That's another thing. She lives in fucking New York City. She doesn't even live in Gotham. What the fuck? Like, why even call it a DC movie?
It's like they had two different ideas for like they wanted to, because like I do not come into this from like comics background at all. I just assumed, okay, so this character's name is Patience. I assumed that this was just like the origin story, and I was just like, oh, okay. I didn't realize that it was like not resembling like the DC Comics origin story at all. So I guess that's not like super clouding my judgment, because I didn't know.
Sure, but don't get me wrong. That's not like the reason that the movie's bad.
Well, no, I know.
I think that, like, changing the character's name isn't like an inherent like, oh, I fucking hate this because she's not called Selena Kyle. But when you do that in like every aspect, it's just like, yeah, why is it Catwoman?
I did complain about that. I think it's really lame that they didn't just go ahead and say like, this is Selena Kyle. But for context, it was 2004, and I think if it was redone today, they would call her Selena Kyle. But I think 2004 DC or whoever the hell made this movie, they were like, the fanboys aren't gonna like it if we make a black woman Selena Kyle. They're not ready for that.
Except Selena Kyle was a black woman in the Adam West 1960s TV show, because Eartha Kitt played her. So
yeah, but still, it's like, I don't know. Like all the comic book movies that were coming out at the time were very like more mainstream, I guess, if that makes sense.
Like I was kind of like looking up the timeline a little bit, and this is post X-Men.
9/11. Yeah.
Also that. Well, because she played Halle Berry played Storm in like.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah,
like, so this is like post X-Men. So it's like superhero movies are kind of. They're not. They're taking on a more like serious tone. They're not like, I guess, as zany as like Tim Burton ones, or like George Clooney Batman nipple suit kind of stuff. I haven't seen a lot of those either. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I haven't seen like the Tim Burton Batmans.
People make fun of those movies, but they're fun movies. They're fun as hell.
And I think that's like the disconnect, or like what has become the disconnect with like, I guess, DC's whole deal is that they don't have that maybe they need to embrace like that style again.
Well, I think it's because they like the current thing is because of the Dark Knight trilogy, and then they're like,
Yeah.
oh, let's just try to do that with everything, even Superman, who is a completely different character than Batman. Let's try to give him a gritty,
Like just
origin
take that
story.
template and then apply it. But it's like, well, yeah, but you're not Christopher Nolan.
Yeah,
You're missing that key ingredient of like,
yeah.
a director who's
Well-
like competent outside of like superhero movies.
Christopher
Yeah.
Nolan wasn't even like around at this time apparently, so
He wasn't
they had
born
to,
yet.
like, yeah, he wasn't born yet.
2004.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I just want to say, in defense of her name, this is the origin story, right? So, who knows if the end of the movie, she kind of, jumping ahead, she disappears. So maybe after that, she takes on the alias Selena
Don't do
Kyle.
this.
We don't know. Just saying. But and also, I think her name represents like her character trait, like her main character trait.
I wondered that.
yes,
I did
So
wonder, yeah.
they're just being very direct with
Yes.
that.
Yes, I mean, yeah, that's.
I
what
mean, we don't know. It's the origin story. But,
I mean, I'm pretty sure Catwoman she's probably had an origin story at some point in the comics. I not knowing that for sure. I'm guessing at some point. She's not Joker, who nobody knows his actual name or whatever.
it could be like a Miles Morales type situation where it's an alternate.
That's what I was going to say too.
reality,
Alternate universe.
alternate universe.
Or
I think you
like,
guys are
Catwoman.
making excuses. I think that's
or
what's
like
happening.
or like it's a
I'm just
Zelda
saying we
thing
don't know.
where
Let's
there's
be
like several
open-minded
links.
about it.
Yeah.
I also, again, I want to hit on if I was like Nick and wasn't familiar with the source material, I would still have a million fucking problems with this movie. Like we can
Yeah.
let's talk about other issues.
Yeah,
That's just
like
another thing.
that's why I was like, after I figured out that it wasn't like the Selena Kyle DC, I was like, okay, you got to watch this as an independent, not DC movie. And it was still like my favorite scene is the basketball one-on-one scene. That's that's when I was like, this is the
Yes.
most 2004 movie, and it's hard to watch because
The
it's like
horniest basketball game
Yeah.
of all time.
at an orphanage or whatever that was, like a
It's just a
children's
crowd
home.
of children watching. 'cause
Yeah.
they're like rounding second base.
Yeah,
It's-
it's like, okay. And he had no question. Like the officer was just smiling the whole time. He had no question. Like, oh, she just did a weird backflip off the wall and didn't bounce the ball at all. She just held it in her hand. That's good
Okay.
basketball.
Traveling.
There's TJ and I have talked about this with one of our friends recently. There's a scene from Alien Resurrection where
yeah. Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver, she does something very, very similar where it's almost like the actor was like, I'm gonna do cool basketball stunts. Check this out. I don't want a stunt double for this part. And they are just doing this the whole time. She was just tossing the ball back between two hands, like for 80% of it. And then she does a backflip, and then she's like, oh, I haven't done that since like grade school or something.
Okay.
And then it's like, that's not legal in grade school basketball either. You can't run on the
Is this
wall.
like an
but-
Airbud situation?
Yeah. Okay, what were you gonna say?
Okay, I've said this when we were watching it. She's like probably never played basketball before. And she's like, oh, what is this thing? Oh, it bounces between my hands. Ooh, this is exciting. And she's like cat-like, and she's like, oh, darting between, oh. And then it's like, okay, I figured out. She does these flips. Like, that was her kind of coming to like figure out
I hate
her skills in
it
basketball.
does kind of make sense. Like it's like a yarn ball, like a cat, just like
I do think they played up a lot of those elements. And I see
Yeah.
what you're saying.
I hadn't considered that, but that still doesn't make it any less cringy.
Well,
like I
that's
hadn't
gonna be the
considered
story
that,
of
and that
this
very well
episode.
could be. Yeah, that very well could be the reason for why she is like that. But like, oh my god, they love showing off how much she's like a cat now.
I like
Look
that.
at that.
And I took it like when she said, oh, I haven't done that in years. Because he looked at her like, what the hell? And she had to like come up with an excuse real quick. She's like, oh, haven't done that in years. I didn't think that she was actually saying that like that
Oh,
she
yeah,
had
maybe.
that she used to do that or something,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I think
see
her
that,
like instincts were taking over, and she was like very on her feet, trying to like justify, like, oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Mhm. I
Um,
agree.
my first note.
Yeah, that
actually-
happened. Go
Oh
ahead.
no, go ahead. You're good.
I was just gonna say that like also makes sense with other parts of the movie where her cat kind of instinct takes over, and then she's not even there. Like when the boss guy is like yelling at her, and she's like, I'm sorry that I ever worked for a jerk
Oh,
like you or
yeah.
something. And then she's like, oh shoot,
Oh,
what
I'm
did I just
sorry.
say?
Yeah,
You
You
know,
yeah.
Over,
she's
and then it
schizophrenic.
becomes patience again.
It's almost like
Correct.
he was the basketball in that situation.
And then before I'll let you go to this, but I just had one note about the basketball scene before I move away from that. I put that like in a lot of these movies, like I was thinking like, up to this point, Halle Berry was pretty popular. She was like a pretty big star at the time. She was in a few movies. She won an Oscar for Monsters Ball. And like when you get to movies like this, it's like, okay, maybe it's a case of like I feel like a lot of actors could like be in movies and like you don't really realize that it's bad until you see the final product, because it goes in like the editing or like the whole like script coming together. But like when you're shooting it on the day, and you don't actually see the final product, it's hard to like tell if it's going to be good or bad. But I put everybody deserves that, just wiped out of my mind when I got to the basketball scene. I was like, everybody deserves blame for this movie because of the basketball scene. You should know that is not like gonna look good. I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I think this movie is like an interesting like time capsule into 2004, and like just like the weirdest combination of like cultural elements all coming together and just totally Well, I looked into it, and the director is like a visual arts guy. He's like a music video director, which when I saw Pitoff,
that makes sense.
I thought it was like an alias. I was like, is this like another like Alan Smithy type thing where like the director ended up being like so ashamed of it that like he came up with like a pseudonym to like basically avoid, because I think if you watch like Dune, like directed by David Lynch, it says directed by Alan Smithy. Like there's that's like a common Hollywood thing. I was like, this guy thinks he has one name, like that's like he's that big of a deal. And then my second note was, this music sounds like hold music or early 2000s ringtones. Like the entire soundtrack, it reminded me of The Room, honestly. In certain like the little sex scene reminded me of The Room like so hard. But all of it's just like oohs and yeahs to like a vaguely like hip hop sounding thing.
Okay, yeah, I get
and
what
it's
you
like
mean. Yeah.
That was so like it was so that's what made it. And the songs don't fit with like the scenes either, because they're all like the R&B, early 2000s R&B music, but then there's like an action scene or that basketball scene, and it's all the same genre feeling of music. So it's like this doesn't fit at all.
It's like when she's like coming into herself and like being like, yeah, I'm sexy, but also I can kick ass. I feel like the music does fit in like those scenes because it's more like, I guess, R&B sounding. But during some
when
other
she's
scenes,
walking on the roof like strutting in those like black leather pants where there's like you can see her skin through it.
They did kind of like overcomplicate it because they tried to like mix Spider-Man with She's All That.
She's All That. I was thinking that the whole I'm like, one of my notes was like, oh, is she clumsy? Like
and then she's got like the baggy clothes and then like the long hair, and then she like self-cuts a Karen haircut. Like
I put that too. That was a total Karen haircut.
Hey, but back then though, that was the trendy.
That was
cutting it too.
I'm surprised she didn't like just do it with like her fingernails. Like
instead of
in character, like cringy. And then like the pants are like scratched, like cat scratches. And there's that like really slow like pan around her to like really show up. And they show her butt, and she has like no butt, and it is like it's my ass. It's my ass in leather pants, and it's like not flattering at all.
For all the CGI they use,
I'm a visual learner, so
do you want it?
I'm gonna need you to make another video like the
Do the walk. Do the walk.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
That is,
Or
yeah, that's a
He's
Holly
got
Berry
a better
perfect.
butt
download
than
too,
you.
That's
so
like-
it looks
I'm
even
sorry.
worse.
That's
I'm not
bordering on
really
like
100%.
Hank Hill ass.
Yeah. I mean, she is like, you say that she's got a better butt than me, but that is in like at the time, top shelf Hollywood, like CGI, makeup, wardrobe. She's got all of these like things working for her to make like a perfect looking butt, and they just failed. That's all I'm saying. I'm
this-
just like off the rack, you know, like just like the spotlight is just shown right on me, spur of the moment, and I just did that, and it's like I'm 50% of the way there. Is what I'm saying.
Was this before or after her James Bond movie?
After it was Die Another Day was 2003.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's the only
and
thing with
she
the
looked
CG.
alright in that one.
CGI, I feel like all movies in the early 2000s, when they kind of just discovered CGI, they just
Yes.
overused the shit out of it. So it's like this movie is a good example. There are scenes where they had no, like, they could have not used CGI in a lot of the scenes, and then for some reason
Yeah,
they
like-
just
The cats.
like what
Some of the cat
the
stuff was-
cats, yeah. And then when
Yes.
some of the movements she does that she could probably do, they just CGI it. And I don't
Yeah.
know.
Front double.
I didn't go back. I forgot to do this, but I'm pretty sure when she was at the club and she ordered a White Russian hold everything besides the milk,
Oh my fucking god!
and she took a sip of it, I'm pretty sure that milk mustache was CGI'd
Oh, you think?
because of
Oh.
how perfect it went on, and then how perfect when she licked, it was like perfectly clean. I was like, that's got to be CGI. That's got to be fake.
Henry
Yeah,
Cavill did. That's
my-
where they got the idea for Superman.
Yeah. Yeah.
My girlfriend told me that if I got a milk mustache, that she was gonna do a '70s milk bush.
I it took me way too long to get the White Russian joke. I was like,
You didn't-
she's
I
like,
got
she said it.
immediately.
no, she said it, and I was like, she's like, hold the, what did she say? Hold the cream and hold the Kahlua or something.
the
And I was like,
vodka.
hold the vodka, hold the Kahlua.
or yeah, that's
No
what I meant. Hold the
ice.
vodka, hold the Kahlua,
Ice.
no ice. And I was like, what? But that just leaves the cream. Like that's how I said that like out loud.
The cream.
And you said it. You said it
Sitting there watching
exactly
the
when
movie.
the bartender did it.
Yeah.
too.
It was no, like
Here's what-
right when I realized it, he like set it down. I was like, fuck.
the cream. cream.
One thing I
Also
thought they
that-
maybe should have CGI'd that scene, like when she goes, there's like the spit lines all in her mouth, and it kind of grosses me out. I'm like, why didn't they take
yeah.
those out?
Because they were too busy with the milk mustache.
With the,
Yeah,
like,
that's their
ones over
budget went to
there.
the milk mustache.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
another like it's a lot of with these movies. I mean, by these movies, I mean like these. I don't know what category it would be in of just early 2000s movies like this, where it's you don't know if it's supposed to be funny or if it's just funny because it's bad. But the reactions, like how I said earlier with the cop's reaction when she was playing basketball, how he was like, haha, yeah, I guess she's just really good. And then the bartender, where a woman in a cat mask walks in and orders cream, and he's just like, yeah,
This is normal, and I see this all the time.
yeah. It's like, what the fuck? Like these reactions are awful.
Yeah, and that's what she does too. She just like everything. She just like laughs it off. Like
Yeah.
I see. I kind of think, like with you saying that, like, and thinking about other movies in that time period, which I think we should just call those millennials because it's just like kind of an awkward, cringy thing, just like our generation.
Yeah.
I think that like it almost seems like film went through this like this phase in like the early 2000s where it was like they regressed to like it was almost like a midlife crisis where it was like, okay, we're gonna try and act like teenagers even though we're like 50.
Yeah.
And they did shit like that where it was like really like ham-fisted, like trying to be funny to the teens or something, and
Yeah. And
it's
at the
not
time,
believable.
I feel like those movies at the time made sense. It was like this movie came out. It's like, oh yeah, that's a good movie, but it doesn't age well. I mean, more than a year, it's like,
It-
oof, that was why did
yeah,
that come out?
It was
And
like when it.
that's
oh, go ahead.
that goes with like the style of then too. I feel like the style, just like clothes wise, back then was just we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're just trying stuff out at this point. Like
That's coming
I
back, by the way.
what?
It is.
Yeah,
What
no,
is?
I'm never gonna engage in that. But low rise, I've heard they're coming
Oh.
back.
Kelly watches lots of like fashion YouTube channels, so she knows the trends.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just, I feel like it just like that time period, like early 2000s, was just a weird time for everything.
Whatever the
fashion,
TikTok teens
people,
tell me.
whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of like when the early 2000s rolled around, it was kind of like SSX Tricky rolled around, and we were like, that's gonna be our style, I think, for the next few years.
It's
Very like it's like we're living in the future. Every movie like references like the year 2002. This
Yeah.
is gonna happen, and it's like, okay, we gotta look
simulation-
futuristic.
the simulation was supposed to end in 2000. Like Y2K was supposed to end the simulation, so they didn't plan anything past
Yeah.
that. So the first like
Yeah.
6-7 years of
yeah.
2000 were just kind of like, oh shit, we got to make some
They're
stuff up because this
scrambling.
is not
Yeah.
going well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're running their
Bright
own style now.
Bright colors, zip off pants that turn into shorts.
Let's acknowledge the good things though. There was Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. Those were like
Time
early
was in
2000s.
2007.
Okay,
Ocarina
I'm-
of Time was in the 90s.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Majora's Mask came out in 2000, so it was like most likely
you
developed
go.
and everything in the 90s. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just
I
saying
mean,
like
the GameCube.
90
though.
2004.
Yeah.
yeah,
the
the
game.
GameCube.
Music, there was some really
Which-
catchy music that came out.
No, but like you
Which
said
there was
GameCube.
a Catwoman adaptation for GameCube, which
Yeah.
I think that
Oh,
game
hell
is
yeah.
also notoriously bad.
We should do a review on that game.
When you say
Let's all get
when
it.
you say GameCube, I actually just think of SSX Tricky and baggy, like bright colored pants with like.
Yep.
And I'm guilty of this. This was one of my main outfits in high school was a long sleeve T-shirt underneath a short sleeve T-shirt, and that was just the look.
I still wear
Yeah,
that.
me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I
It's
wore
just-
khaki cargo pants and Vans
Yep.
skater shoes
Yeah.
everywhere I went, even though I didn't. I bought
Yep.
the same pair of shoes for like 8 years. Like the exact.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. For my age group, it was either like Adidas, the white ones with the 3 black stripes, or K-Swiss or Etnies. And Etnies were like the big ass like skater shoes.
Yeah,
They
those
looked
were
like
Oh my
fucking
god!
like NASA.
Like DC,
Yeah.
they were like the
astronaut
DC
boots.
shoes too. I remember those.
Yeah,
were
I had a-
huge.
Yes, DC shoes. Yes.
Those are my favorite. I used to have like a pair of like ugly shit brown etnies that I would wear all the time. Those were like my
Yeah.
good pair of shoes. That was
That's
that was
actually
like
one
right
of my
when
first memories of Ethan. I remember seeing him at like the grocery store, and he had the same shoes that I did. They were the Vans Bearcat. I was like, "Oh, you got the same shoes as me." He's like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty cool." And then that was it.
I like
Yes.
how that's
Ethan
essentially how
definitely
mine and
is
Ethan's
like-
friend-
Go ahead.
that's how mine and Ethan's friendship started too, almost, because he saw I had a yellow iPod with yellow headphones, and his favorite color was yellow, and he was like, "Oh, I like yellow. That's pretty cool." And then that was just, we were friends. That's just how friendships start with him.
Ethan's a very
Ethan shit.
simple man.
Yeah.
He's a very simple man. You like
He requires very
are you
little
breathing too?
stimuli to be like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. Let's be friends.
he's just very interested in people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but he does at least like high school or just post high school. Ethan, it definitely fits. I don't know when this became an Ethan podcast, but
Yeah.
I definitely
There will
picture
be
him
nips.
wearing like etnies.
Yeah.
So
And one more thing,
go for it.
back,
About etnies.
back to the basketball team.
Oh, okay.
I don't mean to I don't want to like go against the grain this entire podcast, but I do want to say that I think when they were doing like their whole one-on-one thing and it became kind of sexual, I don't like there was kids all around, right? But I
Okay,
think
I
that
was gonna
was
bring that up. Yeah.
I think it was meant to be like only they realized that there was any kind of like sex. It was supposed to be very subtle, where like only they were like participating in it, and the outside audience like had no idea what was going on. Because then even after they were done, one of the kids was like, "Can I have my ball back or something?" So it was like they had no idea that there was any kind of sex scene happening there. But I think it was supposed to be subtle, but maybe they missed the mark. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's-
Maybe it was supposed to be, but I feel like the editing and the direction of this movie is like anything but subtlety.
I was gonna say
So,
the
like,
editing of this movie is so like it's jarring almost.
It's
Like the
fucking
what was it? The
atrocious.
cat scene, the first
Or
one
the
when she
action scene.
yeah, the action scenes, but the first one that I noticed was when that oh, speaking of 2004 fashion, all the like punk rockers that live across the alleyway from her
Oh yeah, yeah.
in that like giant warehouse apartment, and it's
It's a
just like
bar, right?
it's a bar?
'Cause
Oh
ri-
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
they
bar,
have
but it
that,
was
like,
on like the
first
fifth
time
floor.
working.
The first,
thought it
yeah,
was-
it seems like it's an apartment, but when she goes over there, there's like a bar. There's like neon signs. I'm like, wait,
There's like a
there
sound
it's
system.
a bar,
Speaker.
and you're mad that it's loud? Like,
Yeah, that's also
So
yeah.
well,
that's
maybe it was
within-
someone turned their apartment into like a party house or something. I don't know.
maybe
But-
I don't know. It was
I never thought
confusing.
about it that way. If they're like an established business, like they have every
Exactly.
right to be open.
yeah.
It's very confusing if it's not a bar. It's very confusing.
And like so the editing with that, when every time it cuts, like it cuts to her, then it cuts to their window, it's like zooming every time. So it's
Mhm.
like zooming in every time, and that was like the way it was edited and shot. It felt like it like creeped me out almost. I was like, I feel like there should be something coming and it's gonna be bad, or like there's gonna be a jump scare almost. And then there was like another one that kind of set me off, not set me off, but like kind of hit me weird was when she was interrogating the guy who like shot at her before, and she had her hand like right next to his face, and it was so quick. Like every time it would cut to him, his face didn't change, but his mouth was moving, and like her hand was right there, and it was like cutting like really quickly. I don't know. The editing in this movie was just really, really strange to me.
Yeah, anytime it was like something exciting or like an action scene, it'd be like all these like really quick like
Yeah.
like swipes in front of the camera. And I actually wrote down like as a genuine question, like, Travis, do you get motion sickness when watching this movie?
It's so funny because when that stuff was happening, I was thinking like, oh, I bet you TJ is wondering if I got motion sickness at this part. And I think if I was in a movie theater, yes, I would have.
Oh, okay.
That
But
was
on the
yeah.
regular screen, it's not as
It's really weird because like, I don't know why. Sometimes that stuff doesn't affect me. Like if I know it's coming,
Mhm.
it doesn't affect me. But if it's on a big enough screen like that and I'm not expecting it, it will like fuck me up big time.
Okay.
Yeah, the one of those cuts too, it was when she was fighting one of the guys, she like did a roll and did like the Catwoman stance, and it cut to him, he did nothing, and it cut back to her, she stood up like halfway, then back to him, and it did nothing, then back to her, and she finished standing up, and I was like, there's no reason for a quick cut right here. It's bad editing.
Yeah.
Oh,
The-
did you guys notice the apartment she came out of when she went to confront the party apartment was 23?
Is
Okay.
that
That was weird.
significant?
It's a
like the
it's
number
significant.
23.
Yes, it's significant
Okay.
because it is in the cup, and it's actually right here.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Watch
okay.
that movie. Now I always notice stuff that's like 23.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, it's the first time I actually wrote down about the editing was the motorcycle scene. She like gets on the motorcycle, she's like driving through the city because it's so hard to see what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
But I also noticed that, like, whenever you could get a good glimpse at like her, and maybe this is why it was so well, I would say this if like not every scene was also this jumbled and
Was that
weirdly
her
cut together.
motorcycle?
But like,
Whose
No.
motorcycle
yeah, it
was
was
that?
her. Or
No, it wasn't
was
because
the neighbors. It
when
was the
she
neighbors.
sat on
Had
it,
to have
be-
been.
Oh, right.
before she even started it without a key, before she even started it, she just sat down on it, and you can hear like in the background, you can hear like a voice like, "Hey, my bike," and then
Oh,
that's
yeah,
it.
that's
And then
right.
she just
Yeah.
drives off.
I put that like it. Anytime you could get a clear like look at her on the motorcycle, it was very clearly not Halle Berry. Like not to this degree, but I wrote down like there's a scene in a date movie, where it's like one of the jokes that I actually thought was kind of funny, but it's Allison Hannigan is like the lead character in that movie, and there's a part where she gets on a motorcycle, she's gonna like drive away, and then there's like an obvious cut to her stunt double, but her stunt double is like basically Terry Crews wearing a wig. And he, like does a wheelie and like speeds off, and that's what it made me think of when she was on the motorcycle.
I love that. I love like seeing stuff like that when it's you don't even have to look hard to tell that it's definitely not the same person.
Yeah,
Like that makes
it wasn't
so
that
hard.
different, but
to Halle Berry's credit, though, she did go through like pretty extensive like karate training, and like she learned how to crack a whip. Like,
oh, okay.
She went through like actual stuff to like, I guess prepare for her role, which again, which makes me kind of come back to like what you were saying earlier, TJ, is like maybe like while they were doing it, they're like, yeah, this feels right. This is gonna be a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it all got put together, they're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
we
You
got
can't
a
even-
visual artist, music video director to direct Suicide Squad. This movie walks so Suicide Squad could fly. Like, getting like a music
can't
video
even-
director to do it.
You can't even tell that she's like good at karate because of the editing. It's just it cuts so quick. It doesn't look like she's doing shit.
Yeah.
You can't tell.
It feels like
Yeah.
it feels like Wild Wild West meets Spider-Man, like the OG Spider-Man movie. That's what it feels like to me. I think that I'm a little bit torn on this movie because especially since we've watched like so many comic book, not so many, but we've watched
Recently, we've
movies
watched
recently.
a few. Yeah.
And I've already said that I'm kind of burnt out on comic book movies, that like to me this just feels like a middle of the road like comic book movie.
No
It
way.
doesn't feel like that bad to me. Like it is like, to me, it is almost adjacent to Spider-Man 3 in like the cringiness, like awkward shit. Like you have to give it that like this was, when did Spider-Man come out? Like 2003? First
Spider-Man 1 is 2001, and then 2004, and then 2007.
Okay, so it's like right in the infancy of like the new age of Spider-Man or comic book movies.
This came out the same year as Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, but obviously it was in development and they hadn't seen it, or and like it's not 2020 or 2019 with like a Joker, where you can have the bad guy be bad basically, but also empathetic, and you can be like, oh, I like Joker because it's the gritty reboot or whatever. You couldn't do that in 2004. So I think that's kind of why they kind of put her in this little box of like, oh, it's like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type thing of like, oh, she's bad, but she's really good, but she has this like spirit in her. But
That's
even
kinda
when
how
she's
cats are.
yeah, it is. That is true. Yeah, see, there you go. It's accurate to real life. But yeah, she steals all those gems, and then the next day when she's like,
She gives them back.
she gives them back.
Sorry.
So yeah,
Except for the one, which I think is maybe a bit justified in a sense, because that necklace they were talking about, I think it was a necklace that she took the pieces off to make her claws.
Oh, okay.
So that belonged to like some
I didn't
Egyptian
even notice that. I didn't
goddess or
realize that.
something. Yeah, like she was on the news, the jeweler, saying like, oh, it was a one of kind piece from, thousands of years or whatever. And it's almost like the spirit that was put into her was the spirit of that Egyptian goddess. So like
Kinda
in a
think that was,
way,
like, the idea,
that necklace belonged to her. So it's kind of like
Well,
that was the one thing she didn't give back. I know it's not
I mean,
completely justifying her
I do
stealing
kinda-
it, but
yeah, I do kind of think that was the idea, that like it was supposed to be like that spirit of that
that's
goddess.
like
or
a
whatever.
that's like a
Absolutely.
debate with a lot of museums now too. It's like there's a lot of like
Yeah.
museums that have like Egyptian like pharaohs and like relics, and it's like, do we really have like the rights to just take that, like excavate it and take it and put it in our museums, like in our country?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
this movie's kind of
basically,
based.
like what happened with Iraq or Iran or whatever, where like Hobby Lobby owns some like artifact that they like bought they bought from somebody who basically, stole it from wherever
Jeez.
over in the Middle East, and then like they just recently had to give it back after like the war
What?
ended. Yeah, you haven't
Yeah.
seen this? It's like some kind of like tablet or something that had like some kind of ancient writing on it. Yeah, and for some reason Hobby Lobby, an extreme like far right like company, bought this like Muslim text. Maybe it wasn't Muslim, but it was like Middle
That's
East
really,
text like
yeah.
that. You haven't heard that?
No, that's fucking weird.
That's wild.
Yeah. Let me look up I'll look up the title of what it is.
I'll be right back.
There's another part, or I guess not it's a scene when they're analyzing the handwriting, and I mean I'd be interested to look into, like, I don't know what those guys are called that analysts that analyze handwriting or whatever, but how deep he got into that, that was like kind of, I thought that was supposed to be a joke, and I
No,
thought
that's-
like the cop was gonna laugh at that or something, but that was an honest, like,
I
she
mean-
seems alone by the way she writes her O's, but then she's, a sweetheart by the way she does her R's and the space in between this. And I was like, this seems like the most in-depth dialogue in the whole fucking movie, and it's about how she wrote sorry. And then the fact that also it's like they're also terrible cops, because that handwriting is like match for match, and they're
Very
just like,
similar.
they're just like
Yeah.
totally different person. If you had if you had them in the same room, it'd be quite the party.
Well, that's the thing, though. That's like I said, it's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They are technically like two different people.
Right, she's schizophrenic, but it's like the handwriting was just such a like dead giveaway. Then they're like, nah, that's a dead end.
It's nothing worse than you would see in any like cop procedural that you would see like during the week on like network TV. Like
This is like a network TV movie. That makes a
it
lot
kind
of
of
sense.
is. It kind of
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. And this doesn't necessarily change my view on this movie in particular, but it's kind of weird, like you bring it up, like superhero fatigue. I kind of feel like anything pre like MCU, it's like a completely different feel to me. Like if this was a better movie that I liked, I don't think that I would like feel that same like superhero fatigue like you were talking about.
yeah.
It's just they just have a real, like the Spider-Man movies, the X-Men movies, like like them or not, it's a completely different vibe than everything post like Dark Knight, post Iron Man.
It's because they were more concerned about telling their own story as opposed to like leaving little doorways for
That's true. Yeah.
openings for like other stories to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's even like Batman. Same thing with Batman. It's like I'm telling you this Batman story of like,
Mhm.
the
Chris Nolan ones.
Yeah. Even the Chris Nolan ones. Yeah.
That was like the last
Bat flick, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. I
He's got-
think the Christopher Nolan ones are like the last. Those are like the last superhero movies that just told their own contained story, pretty much.
Yeah.
More
They
or
didn't have to
less.
worry about anything else. They could just like, they didn't have anybody above them saying like,
Uh-huh.
oh, make sure we have a thing for Iron Man to come in or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like,
why-
no.
That's why Joaquin Phoenix Joker was so good, because it's just by itself, it's just a story about a
that's
guy.
true. That is kind
Except they're making a sequel, and that makes me a little like,
Is Joaquin
wary
Phoenix
of,
going to be
like-
in it?
I think so.
of.
And it's
That-
probably gonna be merged with the Edward Cullen Batman. I can't think of the dude's name right now for some reason.
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson, yeah.
Cullen.
Edward Cullen.
Oh.
I didn't
And,
even
you
read
know-
that you were saying Edward Cullen. I just like,
Oh.
that's his real name. I know you're saying.
That even the Joker movie doesn't fully escape that, because like it's not necessarily tying it into like the Zack Snyder movies, but like it has to like, hey, here's Bruce Wayne in a scene,
Oh.
him, recognize
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne. But yeah, considerably less ham fisting in all this other shit than Justice League or any Marvel movie or anything like that.
Have we talked about the plot of this movie very much? We got to the basketball scene.
Really?
But
No.
What?
I-
Plot?
There's a plot?
I mean, so there's like a couple things that like I noted. I guess for people who haven't seen this movie, the whole premise is that Halle Berry's character dies. She discovers that the beauty company that she works for is actually like about to release a product they knowingly are about to release a product that is going to like damage their clientele, but they have to keep using it in order to like maintain it. And if they stop using it, they're gonna get, like facial scars and like, abrasions or whatever. If they stop.
If they stop. Yeah. That's what he's saying.
And so like Halle Berry, this is like, of all the shit that you guys have said, this is like the most improbable thing to me in the entire movie. The fact that like she's like a graphic designer, but like this dude she has to like what? Paint it and then roll it up into like a poster and give him a PDF. Like you're working in like cubicles with computers. What is this like? Oh, I don't like this color of red. Okay, go into the software and choose like a different color of red. But it's like, to make the movie go along, she has to like hand deliver. She's got like in a poster tube or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And through that, she stumbles upon this meeting where is it Sharon Stone who's out there, or is it someone else? They're basically having
I think it is.
They're having like a conversation about how like this guy is like, I don't feel good putting this product out. It's unethical. People are gonna get hurt, and like I don't feel good about it. And then because she's so klutzy and clumsy, she makes herself known to them. There's like a gunfight that ensues, and basically like she runs into like this giant sewer system, gets flushed, and dies. And then the midnight, this like ancient Egyptian cat or whoever, kind of like an Isle of Dogs kind of thing. They all just like are on like, whatever this island, and I think what was it? Dagan said that like the cat burps into her face.
Yeah, pretty much.
The cat spits up in her mouth, and then she wakes up, and suddenly she gets. So that's like the inciting incident where like she gets her powers.
Dagan, you're muted.
Yeah, Dagan, you're muted.
Okay.
Also, did you notice that the main gunman guy? I do this every single time, and I don't want this to turn into IMDb the podcast, but the dude with the gun that's like chasing her around, I always like look at him and I'm like, I know this guy from somewhere, and like it always ends up being he's the dude that works at like the sex dungeon or whatever in 7.
Oh wow. Yeah, I wouldn't have. He looked familiar to me too, but
it's so in like
I wouldn't have fucking thought of that.
Like he's like, they come in with these packages all the time, and it's like the giant like basically strap on that's like bladed and shit. And it's like he always plays like these greasy, seedy like New Yorker. He's also in an X-Files episode, the one where it's like Mulder goes back to like the Civil War times or something like that. It was like not a great episode, but he's in it. But like I always recognize this dude, and it's the dude from 7 that works at the sex shop. Oh, the best line delivery in the entire movie is also in that scene when the guy's like, "Who's there?" I just
yeah, that's right.
So I like that was like a laugh out loud because like the way that dude delivered that line, it was awful.
I thought. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I thought it was kind of cool that like the protagonist, who's female, she is kind of getting like talked down to and bullied by the same man who's the husband of the antagonist. And so both of them are kind of faced with like the same struggle, the same like, where are we going to go from here? And the woman who's the antagonist, she becomes like, a woman scorned, and she's like feels justified in like fighting back and kind of hurting people because she got hurt, because she's like a woman and people didn't respect her, so she's gonna steal it, she's gonna take it back. But then Halle Berry's character, because she's got the good heart, it seems like those two are like, I like that they're both women, and I like that they're like evenly matched, like in the power that they have. I just thought it was cool.
I did like, I mean, I guess I knew it just from like, I don't know, seeing YouTube reviews of this movie because I'd never seen this before, but I don't know. I knew the overall gist. I knew that Sharon Stone was like the final baddie, but like not having known that, I guess I would say I kind of like that. If I'm giving the movie credit, like I kind of like that it did sort of seem like the husband was like the main bad guy, and then he dies like with like a half an hour more to go, and then you're like, oh, it's actually Sharon Stone's like
Yeah, it's
the
a
main
good
antagonist.
subversion.
Yeah, it's a little
Didn't we know all along though? Because when Halle Berry, when she first gets flushed down the sewage pipes or whatever, like I thought
Well-
we saw Sharon Stone in there.
no.
She doesn't
I think
remember,
you
though.
do. Yeah, I think you do, but she like confronts her, like they talk later on, and like she convinces Halle Berry that like,
Right.
or like you kind of get the
Halle Berry
idea
didn't
that
know.
she's kind of working under her husband, or she's only doing this stuff because her husband is like forcing
It's
her
like
to.
it's like Sharon Stone
whatever.
almost kind of exploits that the like Halle Berry's nature, where she's like you work for my husband and you know he's a piece of shit, and like he's a
Yeah.
piece of shit to me too. So like
Mhm.
let's like she kind of exploits her sense of like righteousness to like use her to her own ends.
Like on a team, she puts them on a team
Yeah.
together against him.
Yeah.
And then ultimately ends up like framing her for his murder because there's like a previous death that she's seen at. The same doctor that earlier was like, I don't feel comfortable about putting this out. He's found dead. And is it is it her like love interest that comes into the room and sees that she's like standing over like Slavinsky's body?
No, I think it's just like random cops. I don't think
Okay.
he's there right then.
Okay.
I could be wrong,
I
but
remembered his name.
But it was just like a janitor or something that saw her standing over the body.
I think it
you mean
was.
when she's like holding the gun and like Sharon Stone like frames her for?
No, there's like a scene earlier, like
Oh.
at that lab. She returns to the lab and like finds him dead on the ground.
Oh,
And
okay.
then-
Yeah, I don't remember then. I was
Yeah.
thinking of the other scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
What else?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I give it props where it's due that like, a female-led superhero movie. I don't know, were there any at the time? Like a lot of people say like Wonder Woman was the first one, but it's like, hey, it's Catwoman, but maybe that's because it's not remembered very fondly.
I feel like
But-
I feel like 2017 Wonder Woman was like the second female-led superhero movie.
I
Which
can't
is
really
like-
think of any other ones.
That's
Oh,
like a 16-year gap.
When did Captain Marvel come out?
that was after Wonder Woman. Captain Marvel was in 2019 because that was like right before Endgame. There was a Elektra, if you count that, the Daredevil spinoff. Although I've heard that's also terrible.
Put it in the
But
cup.
no, please no. maybe I think Wonder Woman gets like a standout as being like the first like successful and
Right.
critically acclaimed, like it was the first female-led superhero movie that wasn't panned like in the way that Catwoman and Elektra was.
Yeah.
So I guess like yeah, give it props for that, but at the same time I wish it was a better movie for it being a female-led movie. I wish that it was better for people to look to and enjoy as like a
Yeah, because like
if you're looking for that.
a certain set of people will also look at this movie and be like, "Yep, this is why we can't have women leading roles in movies." And it's like, that is not the message that you should be getting from that.
Yeah.
I mean, and it did kind of maybe a little bit derail Halle Berry's career until full circle John Wick.
Oh, hey, how about that? Yeah.
Wouldn't that be wild if Catwoman was the reason Halle Berry didn't act until John Wick?
Well,
No.
I don't know if you guys know like the story or whatever, but she won the Razzie for worst actress for this movie, and
Yeah.
she famously showed up and like gave an acceptance speech at the Razzies. But basically what she did is she threw her agent under the bus. She was like, yeah, it was all his fault that I did this movie and blah blah blah. And like, guess what? She stopped being cast in like a lot of big
Oh,
movies after
fuck.
that. So there's like a
Ugh.
could be.
I
'cause
mean,
maybe don't shit
Good
talk
for
your
her
agent.
though, because I mean, she probably knew what she
Yeah,
was
for real.
doing. Good for her.
Well,
for
So she hated it?
well, it could. Who knows? It could always be. I always go back to The Room. That's always my reference point, where it's, now Tommy's like, oh yeah, it's a comedy, ha ha ha. I knew that the
Yeah.
whole time. So with something like that, I'm like, was that really what happened, or is she just throwing blame because she now knows that it's a really bad movie, or
The way you phrased that made it sound like you have like a depression room that you go into, because you were like, I always go back to The Room.
Like, what are you talking about?
I always go back to The Room, and I'm
Dreamatorium.
sad there.
Yeah.
And I'd be
Kick
sad.
fucking ass. It's There Will Be Duds. I have two notes that two bits that I genuinely liked in the movie. Not as like an ironic
Kick
like,
fucking ass. It's There Will Be Duds.
I liked all the cat stuff, but not for the right reasons. But well, I guess I should say I liked all the actual cats in the movie. That was pretty cool. But
Kick fucking ass.
no, there was
It's
a
There
little
Will Be
thing that I liked when
Duds.
she goes to Frances Conroy's house. Basically the cat lady who like tells her all about Catwoman stuff. And there's a part where she starts explaining like, oh yes, Bastet was an Egyptian goddess and blah blah blah. And then like she gets interrupted because like one of the cats just like hops up on the table. And so she has to like pick it up and move it away. And I was like, oh yeah, that's what cats do. I actually like that little moment. And then there was a line at the end where I was like, ooh, that was actually like a good one-liner when she's fighting. It's during like the final fight, and Sharon Stone like holds her at gunpoint, and she's like, you don't want to do this. And she's like, I'm a woman. I'm used to doing things I don't want to do. And I was like, ooh, damn. That's kind of good.
Well, I feel like there was another instance like where Sharon Stone was like, and then I turned 40. And it's like, is that her character talking, or is that like Sharon Stone talking?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I feel like Sharon Stone was like another actress who like got, she was big at a certain point in time, and then like, once you turn a certain age, you get blacklisted, you stop getting offered certain roles, etc.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, it feels like there was a commentary or like, a message to be made in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think there is a message. I want to say that eventually, but
I go for
I was
it.
confused at like the whole.
Oh.
Why would they take Sharon Stone off as being the face of Beeline? Because she's clearly like aged looking, but with like no wrinkles. So it's like it seems like she would be the perfect face. Like you can be an old person and no wrinkles. Why would they replace her with someone way younger who's not even prone to getting wrinkles? Like that was kind of weird to me. I just thought she would be good to stay the face of it.
Yeah.
Well, I think there was also like drama between the husband and the wife. Like, wasn't it basically he was the husband was like taking this younger, the new face of the company. He was like taking her to, which the only redeemable part for the husband was that like he looked bored as shit during Cirque du Soleil, which I was like, yeah, that's probably accurate.
Yeah, and she's like, I think, and he's like, don't. She's like, what? He says, think. He's such a dick.
That's kind of a good, like, corny one-liner. Like, that's kind of good. I kind of liked him in the way that I like certain, like, Bond villains. Like, again, referencing Die Another Day, I used to absolutely hate Gordon Graves, the villain in Die Another Day, because he's so over the top corny. But I watched it like last year. I love him now. I love that whole shtick of just like, I'm a schmoozy British man and I am evil. Like,
yeah.
So, and I kind of got the vibe out of that guy. So I kind of enjoyed seeing him when he was on screen.
I think there's like,
No, I was gonna. Yeah, were you gonna go into the message or whatever? Because that's what I was gonna say. You should
Stop, Graves.
Kind of. Well, I was gonna say like there's the
Gideon
main
Graves
plot.
is from Scott Pilgrim. Son of a bitch. Yeah, Gustav Graves.
That's it.
You haven't seen it.
No, he doesn't look familiar. So there's like the main plot of like she has to like thwart like the Bioline going on the shelves and like basically killing people. But then there's also like the side plot of Patience and like merging with Catwoman. Like at first it's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, but it becomes like when she goes to like the Sage house, it's like she's like, I'm not Patience anymore. And she's like, no, you are Patience and you're also Catwoman. So it's like her journey of like merging the two. And that's why Midnight like tests her heart, because she clearly didn't have like the coordination or the power to come out there and like save the cat from the ledge in that like beginning scene. But she does because, you know, she's got a good heart and she doesn't want to see this cat die. So it's her journey of like that heart governing the power that the cat gives her, the power of Catwoman. So I think that like that's also like a good side plot, like the two people merging, and which I think ties into the message. But
I do like the concept, the idea of the Catwoman being a thing that's like passed down through eras or generations of like there's been multiple Catwomen and you're the newest one, you're the next one, and you have to be tested to get this power. Like I think that's a really cool concept if they're not gonna do the, you know, original Catwoman thing. Having the Catwoman power be something that's passed down and all these ancient or past Catwomen are kind of like in history hidden a little bit. I think that's really cool.
It was kind of funny, like during that history moment. I didn't notice it during the film, but just glancing on like the Wikipedia article, apparently as she's going through the book of like all the different Catwomen, there is a picture of Michelle Pfeiffer in the book as Catwoman.
Oh, was
from,
there?
From
Oh,
Batman
I didn't notice
Returns.
that. Oh, nice. There's a part where she is talking and she kind of does like a purr talk, and I'm pretty sure she was doing like, it's not just that she's doing like a purr, like it sounded like she was doing like Eartha Kitt Catwoman, which you know, maybe that was just another little reference or something, or maybe she was just trying to do a purr and she sounded like her. I don't know.
This chat is petering out even faster than any of the other ones so far.
I was just skimming to see if I had any more notes.
I don't. Did anybody
so.
else watch this on DVD?
No,
No.
I watched this on HBO
Okay.
Max.
No,
Okay, because
ashamedly, I don't have this on DVD.
Well, I do. So
Okay.
eat shit.
If I did, it would be displayed
Yeah.
right in front of Henry from Eraserhead.
Just so you guys know, the one and only trailer that we saw was for NASCAR on IMAX in 3D. And then the trailer ends with catch it on DVD. And it's like, I think that defeats the purpose of IMAX.
Yeah.
Doesn't really make sense. They said like 8 stories tall. The screen is 8 stories tall. It's like, catch it on DVD. Huh? Wait.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. How does that work?
Speaking of 2004, when like IMAX was, it's like, oh shit, this is an IMAX.
Oh
Yeah.
man, yeah, that was new. That was new technology, and like 3D. I feel like it was like Spy
Yeah.
Kids 3D.
Yeah, like everything was
yeah.
trying to
Other
be
3D
3D.
movies, but Spy Kids 3D is the only one I could think of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
when you
nobody
can,
ever gave a shit.
yeah, like watching old movies that when 3D was like the biggest thing, when you can so obviously tell it was shot for that scene to be seen in 3D, and when it's just a normal
Yeah.
Let me
like,
grab my
scene,
car keys. Whoa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks
Yeah.
fucking shitty.
The only IMAX movie I've seen to date is from I was in like 8th. Sorry. I was in like 8th grade, and it was like Lewis and Clark, but it was like
Mhm.
a shitty documentary. Like not even. I mean, obviously not like a documentary, but it was like it was like it was a field trip, so it was like
Yeah.
educational. It wasn't like Almost Heroes with Chris Farley and
Yeah. Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry. Like a fictionalized, funny version of it. It was like, and then Lois went down the river and Clark was
Yeah.
drawn on a map. But it was 8 stories tall. So it was pretty
yeah.
intense.
I remember that too, because the first one I saw and the only IMAX movie that I saw was like exact same thing. It was like a school trip, and it was a deep sea 3D
Yeah.
narrated by Johnny Depp.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna wait for Travis to get back for this one because I do have one more note that might lead down an avenue of conversation.
Okay.
The-
I can talk about other things I saw in IMAX.
And
So-
I have something we can say. So I wanted to say this in pre-chat, but have any of you guys watched Why the Last Man yet?
yeah,
No, I have not.
You did watch it?
yeah. I've
Like-
yeah. I'm caught up
The
with. So I'm.
what did
watched the
you-
First four.
I haven't seen it yet, and I know you and Travis both. You really love the graphic
Yeah.
novel, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of bringing it in as an opener thing, like when the season's over.
Oh, okay.
But for now, I'll say like I'm enjoying it as a fan of the comic book series, but
Okay.
it's not like, to me, it's not like the reason that like I brought up shows like Invincible or The Boys is because I like both the comics and the TV show, and I think that the TV show is a good adaptation, but it also adds and changes a lot of stuff. Whereas with Why the Last Man so far, it's like, and not that being it like a direct adaptation is a bad thing, but it's just kind of like, oh yeah, it's the book. There's nothing
Okay,
like
yeah.
crazy. I love the theme. I will say that I really love the theme.
Yeah. I didn't know they were still released. I thought they just had put the whole first season out. Oh hell yeah! Get those
No.
fucking titties out.
But yeah,
Um,
no, it's going weekly. So
Okay, yeah. So yeah,
episodes
I'll
now.
probably wait until it's all out to start it then.
So
I'm
yeah.
gonna.
Oh, good.
I was just gonna say I was gonna try to reread the books by the time the season's over too, so I can because it's been maybe 10 years since I've read that series. It's been a really
Talking
long
about
time.
Why the Last Man?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you watched any of that yet?
No.
Okay.
I have another that says Miss Swan looking stacked.
Which one's Mrs. Swan or Miss Swan?
It's Alex
Oh,
Borstein
yeah.
from Mad
yeah,
TV.
Miss Swan I gotcha. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a very Invisible Man moment where it's like she meets the doctor and she's like, oh, I just saw my future husband or something like
The
that.
father
And
of my
she's like-
babies.
Yeah, she's like,
Yeah.
doctor, I feel feverish. And then the next time you see her, he's feeding her strawberries and she's like, oh, that was great. The
Yeah.
strawberries were good too.
Yeah. I thought
So
she had
bad.
So unbelievable.
she had blinking neon lights above her head the whole time. Like, this is the comedic relief character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But it's like
And
it's like 2004. This is like peak Family Guy. This is like peak Mad TV.
Yeah.
What was it? Was Mad TV still around in 2004?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Mad
yeah.
TV didn't end until Mad TV ended later than you probably think. I don't know when exactly, but I'm gonna check IMDb.
Yeah.
Another note that I have was that obviously this movie dates itself very, very early with the music. And then the guy who's in the apartment, the noisy apartment, is Chad Kroger, which dates it even more. It's not actually Chad Kroger. he
But
just
it-
looks
Oh.
exactly like him.
It's like it looks like nameless 2004 new metal fan is basically like
Yeah.
that character.
Exactly.
Also
Yeah.
the Google
And
montage, like the way she's literally typing. Was that your cat period woman joke?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she types that into the Google search bar.
Yeah.
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 I didn't
I mean,
get that. Okay, that's you.
It was very real. Yeah, she actually, it has a typo in it. That's. I
Yeah.
swear, every time I type something into Google, it has a typo. So
Oh yeah.
But it
it's
autocorrects
very
for you.
relatable. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. IMDb lists the most recent Mad TV season in 2016.
Oh wow.
Is
I know
what?
she's gonna shit.
Season 15.
Holy shit! I didn't know it ran that long. I thought it ended in like 2010 or 11.
Was
Yeah.
there any of the original cast left?
No, I wonder if that was maybe like a little mini reboot. Yeah, I think it was. It was because it shows the original run from 95 to 2009,
Okay.
and then a revival in 2016,
okay.
and that
Oh,
was
that
it.
makes sense.
And like,
Yeah.
because you go to like the cast list, and there's like always overlap as the seasons progress, and then that last season, it's completely new people, just like
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like the only thing that carried that show was the cast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think, you know, as a kid, like I Mad TV resonated with me way more than like SNL at the time did.
Yep.
Like I always think of like Will
Same.
Sasso playing Kenny Rogers, like doing
Yep.
Jackass.
Yeah, I love this.
It's just like the condiment challenge, and he's just like,
Yeah.
he's got mustard and ketchup all over his face.
Yeah.
And then like Bobby Lee as
Stewart.
Daewoo.
Bobby Lee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Orlando Jones and Phil Lamar.
Yeah.
Michael McDonald, like
Yeah.
Will Sasso. There was
Will
like,
Sasso.
yeah.
Who's the other? Oh no, he wasn't Mad TV. Sorry, Horatio Sands was SNL, right? Or was he?
Yeah.
SNL.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was
I
SNL.
like Horatio Sands. Though, yeah.
Maybe you guys said this. I've been in and out. But back to Catwoman. Sorry. Don't mean to derail the
Oh
conversation.
yeah, no, yeah. Let's no, we can go back.
Wasn't there at some point, like, maybe it was because of this movie, wasn't there some like theory that like Benjamin Bratt was gonna be the next Batman? Because like I
Benjamin
swear
Bratt,
yeah, I swear I remember hearing that, and like I think he would be pretty good as Batman. Like he could be a decent Batman.
He's got the jawline for
See
it.
that?
I guess.
Yeah.
To get shot off.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I never heard that, but
No, maybe that was
I-
just me.
I could see that. Yeah. I like
I
Benjamin
could see
Bratt.
it. It's a very, like Charlie Day as Luigi casting, but I think it could work. I think it would have been
Yeah.
a decent casting.
Yeah, that
It would have
be-
been like back to like Batman and Robin or Batman Forever type vibe, but
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
funny if, like, back in like the Wild West days of comic book movies, where it was kind of like, I don't know, yeah, make a Catwoman, we'll see what happens. It'd be funny if, like, you know, if they had post credit sequences back then, and they could just like make wild, be like, yeah, Benjamin Bratt. Oh man, here's a post credit sequence. He's gonna be Batman. And then
Yeah.
just like basically playing chicken with the studio to see if they'll actually follow through on like
Oh,
doing
yeah.
whatever, you know, because it was
I
like
like
this,
that.
the Suicide Squad. Like there was like that after credit sequence with like Ben Affleck as Batman that like did not pay off at all because they just,
Yeah.
because you know it's a comic book movie in 2017, so like you're basically contractually obligated to have whatever
Yeah.
end credit sequence. Just making
Mhm.
up some complete bullshit nonsense to be like,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe, who knows?
Yeah. I like that idea of them just like not running the post credit sequences by
Yeah.
the studios at all and just being like, huh? Yeah, maybe.
That's the way they pitch the next movie. It's just like they preview their idea in the post credits.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Jonathan. Okay.
has a whole like notebook full of notes, and I don't think she's touched on a lot of.
Oh,
But
I was. I'm all done
I
with
did
mine.
touch
If you.
on-
But what?
I said most of it.
Okay. Is there anything else you did want to hit on? Because I think I'm all done with my notes at least. But you know. So
Yes,
good
I'm
with-
gonna change your rating right now from a 3, I'm guessing,
Well.
to a 7 or an 8 with this last point.
Ooh, okay,
Well,
okay.
We're not doing
Oh, this is Sputter
number
Dud.
ratings with it. Yeah, this is Sputter
Dud
Dud.
rating.
But I will say
Oh.
my rating's lower than a 3. Oh yeah, one of them just dropped out. So one of them can't hear us. But I am interested to hear what she has to say.
Okay. I don't know, maybe it doesn't. So just going back to the moral of the story, I was hyping it up. It's not really going to change anything, I don't think.
Okay.
The moral of the story I think the message is that, like, okay, Halle Berry, Sharon Stone's, like Link, okay, they both had equal, like, opportunity to, like, be good or be bad. More so Sharon Stone, because, like, that was her husband and she worked with him, so she had to deal with him, like, way more, I'm assuming, than Halle Berry did. But she still worked for him. So I think that the moral of the story is that your situation doesn't define you and the power doesn't define you, but it's what you choose to do with it, and it's your heart and your good-naturedness. So now it's a spud.
I think that's all. I think that's all well and fine, like to have like good intentions with your message there, but like, you know, Ben and Arthur has a, you know, the overall message with that is like something that you can agree, you know, like, you know, don't be homophobic. It's like, yeah, okay, I agree with that. That's a good message.
Yeah.
But that does not make a good movie.
In terms of like execution, you know,
Yeah.
like conveying that message, they muddle it a little bit. Maybe muddle is maybe a
little bit.
little bit.
they mud pie it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not something you said earlier made me feel, oh, like you were saying like you didn't want to feel like you were the only one like on the other side or whatever, but like don't ever take like what I say as like an attack on you or anything like that. These, and I'm not trying to say like objectively you are wrong in your opinion and stuff. This is just how I feel about the movie.
Yeah. No, I just didn't want to come into it like as the person, like the defender of Catwoman.
I think
here.
Personally, my favorite episodes are where, like, at least, well, I mean, I shouldn't. I mean, I did really like our Amadeus episode. I liked everybody fawning over Amadeus, but I also really enjoyed doing Eraserhead, where we had one detractor. I like the ones where there's
kick
like
fucking
somebody
ass.
with
It's There Will Be Duds.
a very different opinion, I think, from like the general
outlier.
Yeah, I think that makes for a more interesting
yeah, I don't know,
or more
kick
variety
fucking
of
ass.
like,
It's There Will Be Duds.
something like that.
if it's a nostalgia thing, because like obviously I first watched this like when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I was like in late middle
Kick
school,
fucking
early
ass.
high school.
It's There Will
Well,
Be
it would've been early high
Duds.
school, like sophomore. But yeah, it just like, I don't know. It's very interesting to me. It's entertaining. Like I like watching her like come into her new
Kick
character.
fucking
and,
ass. It's There Will
I
Be
think
Duds.
it's a good story. I didn't read the comic books, so I don't know like how Catwoman is supposed to be. So maybe that would like change my opinion of this, because it seems to
Kick fucking
make an
ass.
influence
It's There Will Be
here.
Duds.
But I mean, I like it.
I like I said, regardless of my opinions, because I'm not like super invested in the Catwoman character. I mostly know her from like, you know, Batman stories. Like I never really read like a Catwoman centric story necessarily, except for like there's ones that are like Catwoman heavy, like The Long Halloween and Hush. But again, that I would still think this was a bad movie regardless. I was just kind of bringing that up as like, again, like I feel like you could have made it after any superhero or something if you're gonna change all that stuff.
And did you watch it when you were a kid?
No, I didn't. And I will say that like, yeah, I could see like watching this movie as like a young teenage girl, like seeing a, you know, a female led superhero movie. It'd probably feel pretty sweet.
I like, because Chloe and I watched this together, and like at one point in time I was like, I bet there were a bunch of like,
oh no,
like girls in middle school who hissed at people that they didn't like. I bet this was like some sort of like awakening movie for like a very specific set of like young girls in middle school and high school when this movie came out.
Yeah, pretty good.
Also, this movie is a dud for me only because, as far as I know, no one at all said the most obvious joke in the entire movie. No one said like, "Oh, we got a cat fight." No one said that at all. No one ever. They did all of the other like cat-centric bits and jokes, but no
Cat
one
got
made
your
a
tongue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't do that either.
When
No,
would
they
have
did
said
do
They
that.
did
They
do
did
that.
do
They
that.
did do that.
Did they?
I was
Oh.
using that as a example of like a really obvious joke they
It's
did
like-
make.
They never made like a cat fight joke. Maybe.
Well,
maybe
technically,
Yeah.
she never fought with any cats. I mean, she was the only cat.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, okay, but that's used meaning like girl fight. And
Yeah.
the final fight was
Maybe-
two women.
In their one
And it
like
is kind of
moment,
surprising.
their one moment of like subtlety, they're like, "Is that a little too on the nose?" And omitted that joke.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So we want to move on to Are you back with us,
Okay.
Travis?
Yeah, I'm back. I can hear now.
Okay, so now we want to move on to our judgments, not necessarily our ratings. So
It's time for
Um,
dud or spud.
dud or
Mhm.
spud.
First,
Yeah.
you
Since
said
this is just the second time we've done this, I'll do a little reiteration where for our dud movies, for our bad cup movies, we are, instead of giving them a score rating, or before we just said is it a dud or not a dud, we refined it a little bit to if it's a dud, it's bad. Basically, well, I would say it's dud is bad, spud is good, and you can kind of have. This is a lot more loose than our rating scale. You know, you can have fun with like, you know, what exactly those things mean to you, but I guess in general, like you could either call a spud one that like you genuinely enjoy, like Kelly does with this movie, or like if one of us watched it and we think it's like bad, but you get like ironic enjoyment, like again, like a Ben and Arthur. Like I like that movie, but it's not a good movie. I would still call that a spud.
Mhm.
But if it's one that's like
Megan
is missing,
Yep.
or Suicide Squad, where it's just it's a slog to get through. There's no real fun to be
redeeming
had.
qualities to it.
That's a dud. So I guess Nick, if you want to go, you kind of already were starting yours.
Oh
so
man,
I'll have you
See,
start, I guess.
I kind of went into this with the intention of calling it a dud. But now that I'm thinking back upon like my viewing experience, and even though it was like incredibly cringy, like I was like all of like the cat centric, like her hissing or purring or like whenever it's like I don't know, maybe it's just like that uncanny valley shit that I get when I see someone like acting like an animal and they're like crawling around and like trying to like use their instincts or whatever. I just like I get like the worst secondhand cringe from that shit. That being said, the viewing experience of this movie was it holds up as like a bad movie. Like I think there are maybe enough things that you can like react to, like holy shit, like it's funny in a bad way, that I'm like it's just on the cusp. I want to say 60-40 spud. I'm going to go with spud. Like 60-40.
So, Big Vanilla commented.
That's
On the screen.
Connor.
Oh, okay. He said not enough basketball.
Yeah.
So if this had like kind of like segued itself into like Space Jam 2 before Space Jam 2 existed, obviously, how would that change your rating?
I
If
haven't
it
seen
just
Space
became
Jam
all
2.
basketball?
But if it I would rate it an air spud then.
Nice.
If this just turned into like a like what was that movie, like Step Up, the dancing movie? If this turned into like
Oh.
that, but with basketball, where that one-on-one just lasted the rest of the movie, and that was the main plot of the rest of the movie, where it was just her and him trying to beat each other in basketball. This would've been a
Or
spud for sure.
or love basketball, where she
Yeah,
just
yeah.
ends up on the pro.
Yeah.
She's just like, wait, I found a different path. Instead of like stealing
Cat
jewels,
burglaring. I'll be a really good basketball player.
Yeah.
I'm going to WNBA.
I'll
Every
I guess I'll
time
go
she
next,
dunks
'cause-
it, every time she dunks it, she's like, I haven't done that in years. To play it off that she doesn't have powers.
I feel really similar to what Nick said, actually. Like as much as I was shitting on it, I also like how you're saying, like the cringe enjoyment of all the I thought all the cat stuff was like hilarious. But like thinking of like as like a bad movie, like a so bad you love it type thing, like I don't ever want to, like I don't think I would watch it ever again. Like it's not good enough for a rewatch. It's like, is it I think I'm close. Like you were 60-40 Spud Dud. I'm closer to the 50-50. I think I will. It's really close. I want to say it's like how do I say this? 55-45 Dud. But I want to call it a Spud because I had a good like Spud equivalent for it. So what I thought of when I like watching this and thinking of it as a Spud, it's like if you guys have read The Martian, he talks about how he's on Mars for like years and all he can grow are potatoes.
Yeah.
All he can grow are potatoes. And basically he like by the end of these 3 years, it's like potatoes are like the worst thing ever to him. He's so fucking sick of potatoes. But they sustain him. They keep him alive for those 3 years. And basically that's what all the little cat moments were in this movie. It's like that's where the Spud comes in. Is like those were the potatoes keeping me alive, but I hated every second of it.
Your cat
Okay.
was like encouraging you. Did you
Yeah,
feel him
yeah.
rubbing up on you?
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
I do like this constant refinement of the Spud scale where we're gonna continuously like add layers or level to the.
I'm planning on having a specific like reference potato every time we.
It's more of a Yukon Gold.
That was another thing when I thought of it, I was like, oh, this can be like our reference pair, like a shut up and sit down type thing. Like
yeah, but yeah, I don't think that you know, I that's why I kind of say to be more like freeform with it because I don't think it should just be like yes no. It's like be more, define it more. What is a Spud?
Yeah.
What is the
Yeah.
Spud?
that was in my original like my original pitch was that potatoes can be used for like they're used for such a wide like variety of things. Like they're used for like clothes and like fuel and like
Bread.
there's different levels to like what they're used for. So that was kind of part of my like idea behind it too.
This movie is like the equivalent Spud to me of like The Mask with Jim Carrey. Like
Okay.
there's a lot of cringy one-liners in that, but it's just such a feel-good movie. Like I could watch that like whenever. If it was on TV, I would sit down and watch it.
I disagree only in the sense that I don't think I would put The Mask even in the bad cup.
That's I would agree with that.
I agree with you in the sense that it's like a great it's very funny in that way, but like I unironically enjoy The Mask and I think I would put it in the good.
Did you enjoy it like when you were like younger though? Was that the first time you viewed it? Because he didn't see it until he was older, and now I can kind of like grasp his perspective.
I don't know why she says this.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way he.
You saw it as a kid?
Of course I saw it as a kid.
I saw it as a kid. There's no way Travis didn't.
It's Jim Carrey. Of course I watched it as a child.
You didn't.
No, I saw it as a child.
Why wouldn't you
just
like it?
hated it. It just was not good. I just never thought it was like.
He's crazy, isn't he? Yup.
She always. That's like her maybe number one quoted movie. Is The Mask, and like she used to always go like, "Doyle," and I guess that's from The Mask. I'm like, I don't remember that. The Mask is.
That part.
Yeah, it's just so
Forgettable.
forgettable. Like. Anyways, back to Catwoman.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that your summation, Kelly? Was that your?
That was me trying to like bring Dagon more into the Spud cat because I know he was The Mask.
I mean, was that your like? Did you want to say anything more with your wrap up or like?
No, I mean, it's just like a feel good movie. I think it's a large part probably due to nostalgia. Like, if I watched it for the first time now, I would definitely be like, this looks terrible. The CGI is bad. It's cringy. They try too hard. But, you know, I just still really like it. I don't know. Some of the parts that he was like kind of cringing about, I was like, I just thought it was fine.
Go ahead, Dagan.
Oh, okay. So you did. I didn't know you were doing that just for me, but you did get me thinking on another track.
The sentimental hits hard.
It hits hard.
You know how to den.
You know how to get me. After Eraserhead, I showed my weakness. I showed my card. No, like thinking about it like that, it doesn't change my mind about this movie, but it still how do so the nostalgia with the mask, I definitely feel that because I do like the mask a couple points more than I should because of how much I loved it as a kid. I still like the scene when he sees Cameron Diaz for the first time and his jaw drops, his tongue like rolls out, and his eyes are like
Yeah.
woo, like that whole thing. That's so corny, but I love that. I still love that. And I like Jim Carrey as an actor in those types of movies. Like was it Bruce Almighty? Like I love that too.
Number
But the
23.
mask what's that?
No, I said number 23.
Oh yeah.
Truman Show.
What was
Some of them.
so
Actually,
like the
Son of Mask. This is a Jamie Kennedy podcast now.
Yeah.
yeah. Son of Mask was trash. I don't like that movie. It
We could put
ruined-
that
it-
in the Duds Cup.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
definitely. But no, I even if I watched The Mask now critically, I would still like it because those moments that can be cringed at or are like over the top are, I feel like, done well and funny. Where it's not like oof, but it's funny. It's I would still enjoy it. I would still have a laugh at it and see it as they did that on purpose. With this movie with Catwoman, seeing those cringe moments, they were cringe in a not enjoyable way, where it's like cringe, like I don't want to live through that again. It's not a cringe where I can laugh at it and enjoy it. So it's, but I can still see the nostalgia with Catwoman and I mean, if you watch that as a kid and enjoyed it, those moments will bring you back to when you first watched it and what you felt then. So I can see why it's an enjoyable movie. But yeah, just like watching it now, it wasn't even like an enjoyable laugh or cringe. It was just like, why would they do that? Why did you do this to me? So yeah, I'm not even on the fence about dud or spud. This is just a straight up piece of
Oh.
dud for me. Like this is, if I were on Mars and
Okay.
these were my roots, I would have died within a few days. So
Oh,
like it's not even, I would have, maybe what's worse, like I wouldn't grow any spuds and I would die from starvation, or my spuds were so bad that when I ate them they poisoned me and killed me. I don't know which would be worse.
Ooh.
But that's where Catwoman is for me. I'm sorry, Kelly.
All right, time for me to bring this home.
Okay.
This one is a movie that's called Catwoman.
Mm-hmm.
This is really hard for me because I really wanted to hate
Oh,
this
shit.
movie. Not only because I knew it was a bad movie, but also because she picked it and I wanted to rag on it. That's just who I am. I like to rag on stuff that people I like.
That's true.
Like The Discovery, piece of shit. I would watch this for an infinite amount of years before I would put in The Discovery. Ever. Once. I would watch this on a loop.
I mean, I
Dude,
wouldn't do that with either of them.
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't.
Dude is like considering it.
I would watch this over the Discovery.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't.
So here's where I'm at, and I don't know if this is legit. I think this movie is it's such a middling like comic book movie. There's many recent Marvel movies that I would watch this over, not even just because like, oh, it's in like an ironic way, like, oh, this is like a funny bad movie, just in the sense of like there's so many bad comic book movies and this is just like right in the middle, to the extent that like it's hard for me to even say this is in the dud cup. I would give this movie like a 4 or a 3 if it was on like if it was in the good cup. And that's kind of what I want to give it. I want to give it like an actual score out of 10 because I don't think it's in the dud cup.
Well-
I think it's just a bad regular movie, if that makes any sense. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, in that case, like I still think, like how I was saying, to be more like free form with the dud and spud. Like, I mean, I guess you would just say that, like, just it's a spud, but
okay, it's a spud that if it were in a pile of potatoes that were like top class
say this is
Oscar
what I like. This is what I
level
want.
potatoes, you'd spot it after a little bit. You'd be like, oh, there's the shitty one, but like you'd still be like, it's not completely rotten. It's just like it's got a couple extra dings in it,
Okay.
more ding than the other ones.
Yeah.
And I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying it's a good movie. I just don't think it's like a good bad movie, if that makes sense. I think it's a bad good.
It's a
movie.
bad movie.
Okay.
That it's just like it's especially taking it in the context of like the time period it was in. Like
Sure.
it's just like there is a part of it that brings me back like to that time period and thinking like, oh yeah, Dashboard Confessional. That's like a really cool song to end a movie with. Taking Back Sunday rules, like this, all this music is like 97.9 GRD, like that's that's where I live.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
See, that's like,
Okay.
I wasn't even taking it in the context of seeing it as a comic book movie or a Marvel movie. Even, I don't know, it would be worse if I took it in the context of a comic book movie. I would like it less. But taking it as just a standalone movie, it wasn't. It was just the editing, the story, the plot, the acting in it, just general movie things. None of it was I was able to.
I mean, yeah, but it's from 2004. I think this
That
movie
doesn't
is better
fucking
than
matter.
Iron Man 2.
It's from 2004. It's
I
still,
think it's better than Iron Man 2.
if I watched this in 2004 when I was in elementary school, I'd be like, this is a shit movie. Like I still wouldn't like it. And I don't.
What do you think doesn't line up in the plot?
Yeah.
That she got
It all lines up.
lines up.
Like,
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
something
I wasn't saying like the
inconsistent
plot. Did I say the plot doesn't make sense? Or
I mean, you said everything. The acting
was bad. The plot was bad.
plot,
The plot was bad.
music.
That's it. Nothing. Everything lined up, but it was just bad.
I mean, that's kind of where I'm at though. Is like I don't think the plot was any worse than any other comic, like most comic book like origin movies. The execution wasn't there, but like plot wise, it's cookie cutter basically.
Yeah, it's very
But
classic
bad.
story.
But I think there's a
I know.
difference between something like, trying to think. Well, Iron Man 2. It's hard for me to like defend that because I also think that's like a pretty bad movie. Like it's probably the worst of all MCU movies in my opinion. So I'm not trying to say that movie's good. It also has like a kind of weird plot. It's pretty boring. It's not good. But like you said, like yeah, the plot's there, but it's the execution. But like the execution is a major part. The execution is like
Yeah.
that's one of my big issues with this movie is like the editing is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And I get ironic enjoyment out of all the cat stuff, but like if I'm trying to take it like not in that way, like not as a dud movie or whatever, like it's bad. I don't know.
I guess I'm not really seeing like what you mean by the execution of
Well,
the plot.
No,
Execution of the movie.
Execution of the movie.
editing.
Like
music,
my major sticking point is all the technicals. Editing is like probably my most biggest issue.
So like it's basically like any bad movie, kind of like what TJ said earlier. We're not streaming, by the way. Also, my internet took a shit, and my
I was
upload
wondering
speed
what
is
happened.
less than 1 megabyte per second. So hey, thanks for sponsoring this episode, Xfinity.
Go fuck yourself.
They're great ISP. Everyone should get them.
I was wondering what was happening. I could tell you were like distracted or whatever.
Yeah. Like what you were saying, Kelly, about like basically like, oh, she has a good heart and the other person, like they both have like a decision to make on like how they're gonna go, and then like they kind of like describing it almost like in its component parts. Like, yeah, I understand that. The way that the movie executed all of those things and tried to convey that idea was so bogged down with other stuff that just like was a distraction. The cringy cat stuff, like the plot holes, or like, you know, the nonsensical things that like get in the way of telling that story or conveying that message. That's what he means by like execution.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess I didn't really find those distractions to be distractions.
It's funny that
It's not necessarily like a distraction, but it takes away from like, oh, I enjoyed this because like it had a good message. It's like every single time like there's something like her hissing or doing cat stuff, it's just like slowly chipping away at like the goodwill that it could have in my
I just
mind.
found those to be very forgivable.
It's funny. The podcast listeners won't know, since we're only podcast now, that this is the most cat-filled episode so far.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is-
Yeah, yeah.
Been in the background.
And now Esteban is right behind.
Oh yeah,
us.
and she's right there.
I mean,
Oddly enough, my cat hasn't been scratching to get in, so I don't know what that tells. I don't know what this is about me.
yeah, the execution is what takes this movie from like a 6 to a 3 or a 4. That's yeah.
Okay, I got you.
It's kind of the
That-
same thing with Close Up. Like Close Up would be a good movie, but if it was executed better, I mean, I have to take that into account that like they didn't have audio equipment. Like,
Oh,
I understand it's difficult, but like
I
don't
will
have
say going back to Close Up, I saw like a clip, like that YouTube version is also like not like I just assumed because it was like an old Iranian documentary. It looks and sounds a lot better like if you get like an actual like restored copy.
I figured that, but still the part at the end where they're like, "Oh, the audio equipment is failing." Like,
oh yeah, I mean that was clearly a choice. That's a little
they had
different.
to keep it in.
That's
I
a
don't think it
little
was
different.
Choice.
They
They didn't choose for the audio to cut out.
actually they did.
Okay, Moose.
No,
with your
no, they did.
conspiracy theories.
No, I read
This
this.
is-
I read this on the wiki. I don't want to go too far into it, but
We got to hit that 3-hour mark. Come on, guys. Let's get in the weeds a little more.
no, I'll just say they made up the audio issue. Basically they cut it out because they gave the director Mark Malboff like a script to read, and then the other guy Sabzian was like genuine, like he wasn't scripted. He didn't know they were filming and everything. But then they felt that Mark Malboff's like responses were really stilted and fake sounding, so they made up that the audio was cutting out. So it was a choice.
That's kind of worse to me.
It could be, yeah. But again, it's again. I'm like, oh, what's real, what's not. But anyways,
This has been There Will Be Duds.
but yeah, I guess I would agree that for this, I could almost agree with Travis saying it's like a 3 or 4 regular movie, if not for the editing, like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Also, the look of it. There's like this weird glowy look to it that just kind of was like, it just made it look weird.
I mean, it's all DC movies, really.
I sort of in a way.
It translated very
Glow.
well into a GameCube game. Let's just
Yeah,
say that.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So that was Catwoman. And now we well, we're gonna do 2 movies because we are going to squeeze our next 2 episodes together, but that won't matter for podcast listeners. But since we're not even streaming right now, I guess that's who we're talking to. So I guess you'll get 2 movies now, but you know, you only have to watch one before the next episode, and then we'll re-announce the second one at the end of the next episode. So who wants our first movie? Who wants to take our first movie?
Don't care. I have mine prepared. I can do it at any point.
I
if
say you go if that's the case. Well, we're going to be watching Travis's horror.
So
So
pick.
I've got the dud. So this is
This movie or this cup, it's Star Wars themed. If you can't tell.
Nice.
Um, it has 20. I had 20 horror movies that I came up with.
Damn.
Shit.
okay,
Damn.
okay.
Because during a phase of my life, I was very into horror movies, and they're pretty much, I'd say, 95% done.
Okay.
But they walk the line, as I've kind of said in the last episode, where it's like, you know, there's movies in there where they're kind of, it's maybe not dud, but it's like camp. It's not like, I don't.
Okay.
All right. But if you pick it, then I can't fudge it. If I like,
You're not gonna fudge it
I have a
anyway.
feeling
Even
that
better.
if I pull it, I can pull. I might
think
be
I
able to
should
be
pick it.
like, okay, now it comes to me. You know, like it's the
Hey.
spark. That it,
I don't. That's why
but
you
I'm
don't
not
use.
gonna editorialize like TJ. So
I was gonna say you always get on me for editorializing. I can't fuck with the sacred cup. I have to pull
There's a
it as
couple
I.
movies in there though that are kind of like they flirt the line of even if they're in the horror genre.
Okay.
Okay.
What is it? What is it?
No.
Is this, you mean Nightmare on Elm Street? Like,
Yeah. Dream Warriors.
Three?
Nice. Fuck yeah.
It's 3.
Three?
It's Dream Warriors.
Hell, I
I've
knew.
heard-
I
isn't
knew
that
it
one,
was
like
3.
pretty good?
Movie?
I knew it was Dream
Yeah.
Warriors. Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would put that in not dud cup. But I know what you
But
mean
it's
though. That like
camp.
all of these like
Yeah.
sequels past like 4 for all these horror franchises could be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the
anything,
thing.
like,
actually, I have
Nightmare on Elm
Saw
Street
in
8,
here, but if I
whatever.
pulled Saw, I was gonna say, quick, pick a number between 1 and 9,
Oh.
and then whichever number you said, I was gonna say
Oh.
that Saw
'Cause, like,
movie.
Sweet.
I don't know if I've said it on the pod before, but like I think Saw 1 is legitimately a good
It's
movie.
good.
Oh no,
It's
is.
a good movie.
Saw is
Yeah.
one of my favorite horror movies, like hands down. It's
Yeah.
fucking amazing. I
Yeah.
absolutely love the first. One.
Everything else afterwards.
Pretty much
Take it or leave it.
everything else. Yeah.
I didn't put anything in there that I legitimately like in like a serious way, like The Shining or The Thing or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
I don't
It's
have
all, like-
those in mine, but I have a
Yeah, okay.
couple. Mine's a
Yeah.
weird mix.
Mine's all like Chud, number 23.
Right. Yeah.
Dream Warriors.
I'm totally
Shaun
down
of the
to
Dead.
do stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, so Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors is next week, and then Dagan, do you want to go next or do you want me to do
I
mine?
can go next. Yeah. I forgot to check
Okay.
if the ones I have are streaming anywhere. So,
I
Okay.
didn't either.
so
I guess I'll check really quick.
I don't know if so. I have 2. Are we gonna kind of have a group decision on which one?
You need to have a cup.
I don't have a cup.
Put 'em in.
Prepare this.
What?
Flip it.
This says
assign-
Dream Warriors is on HBO
Nice.
Nice.
according to Google.
Oh hell yeah.
So
well, there
yeah,
you go.
nice.
Yeah,
I guess-
so flip a coin or something, and heads is one, tails is
Yeah.
the other.
Do
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear what the other. Read them both off and tell us what
After you
Okay.
flip the coin, tell us.
I guess so.
Let me.
Don't no editorializing. B, make it.
Do you want
make it
me-
clean?
Do you want me to?
Oh, yeah,
go
yeah.
for
Do you have a coin
You
right
don't
there?
Have one. I have one like right over
Okay. Yeah. Flip a coin for me.
We have Dream Warriors, right?
Just want to say, keeping in theme with my new cups, it's my Pokemon coins from my Eevee tin.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you a letter. So
Heads.
heads is going to be
All right.
heads is go
So.
heads head.
Oh shit! I think I pulled my
Oh,
headphones out.
fucker. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I
Okay.
can
So
hear
heads is gonna be the letter A. No. Heads is gonna be the letter O. Tails is
Just-
gonna be the letter A.
Just you assign them in your
I
head.
just want so I don't
No, no,
editorial
I-
so I don't like
Yeah.
go back on my decision. I want it to be known that
Yep.
so heads is going to be
Heads
O
is
and then
O.
tails is going to be A.
Okay. All right.
Wait. Are you flipping, catching, and then
I was gonna
doing
catch.
that?
I was gonna catch and flip it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Heads.
Damn it.
Is that an
Okay.
Oreo?
So yeah, the movie is Oreo.
It's a mute.
No, okay. So heads
I have a guess.
heads is O. Is that what I said? Okay, so
Yeah.
the
Yep,
movie
I think
is
so.
called Oculus from 2013. Director
Oh, cool.
Mike Flanagan.
Mike Flanagan. Yeah. Nice. That's the
I gotta be honest. This sounds like another
It might be.
Discovery.
it's one. Have you seen it before?
Me?
No.
Dagan?
Okay, yeah. So the reason I picked it is so I hate scary movies. I do not watch scary movies ever. There's like 3 that I can watch all the way through without looking away from them, and this is not one of them. So I've
Oh,
only
okay.
seen this once, and I saw it in theaters when it came out in 2013 in Connecticut. The movie theater was down the road from an abandoned insane asylum. So
Oh,
I was
tight.
already like really creeped out when I went to see this movie, and I think it came out.
It's like 2011, 2012. It's got Karen Gillan in it. It was like right after she left Doctor
Oh, I'm
Who.
sorry. Wait, this is so it says
2013.
so it says 2013,
What
but
was
then it
your
says
A?
release date April 11th, 2014.
Oh, sometimes there some
Y-
international release
Yeah,
dates versus.
but either way, I just know it was
US.
like I don't know if it creeped me out so much because of the setting or if the movie was actually creepy, but I remember like it being interesting. So I'm excited to rewatch it
I
again.
remember liking it. Like, yeah, I'm me too. It's Travis. It's by the guy that did Hill House.
Yeah, I know.
And okay,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the second season.
Yeah, that's
I know, but he also has done other
Hush.
movies that I like. I liked Hush. You like Doctor Sleep a lot. I like
Yeah.
Gerald's Game a lot.
that's the other.
He's like, in my book, he's 50-50, and
Somewhat.
Dagan's track record is 0 and 1. So
So that was another thing
The odds
that
are not
made me
great.
kind of like, okay, maybe this is a good pick, is because I didn't know Mike Flanagan was the director when I thought about this, and I didn't know until I looked it up today, who Mike Flanagan was, that he was the director of this as well. So it kind of gave me hope that it might not be a discovery.
It looks like one of those that's like every generic horror movie that like has come out over the past 10 years, but I remember liking it. I remember like, yeah, but I'm not sure how I'll feel about it
Yeah,
now.
I
But
what was
I was
A?
one more thing. I also
oh yeah, what was
I
that?
couldn't remember.
The pre-review for the
I
pre-review.
couldn't remember when this came out because I knew I saw it in 2013 or 14. So I looked up like horror movies from 2014, and I didn't realize how many fucking like stellar horror movies came out in 2014. If you look up that list, there's like some pretty, like there's some bangers in that list 2014 of some good horror movies. Okay, so
So what
A
was
was As Above, So Below.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've heard of that one.
That's
I think I like that one.
that one
too.
might be more
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
on the Discovery side though. That one could be.
I had a
Yeah.
Racerhead in the cup too.
Sure.
In your cup.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I
boy.
should have though.
All right. Okay. Cool. So yeah, next episode, I should say, is Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warriors, followed shortly after, if you're watching the streams, by Oculus. So watch those. If you don't want to be spoiled for either of those movies. And then we're gonna take a little bit of a slightly extended break, and then we'll be back with the regularly scheduled programming after that.
Wait, we're still gonna release them.
I'm gonna pick a
Like a
day, and I'm
weekly
just
day.
gonna like. I don't want to like mess up our release schedule by releasing like 4 in 1 week, but like
I'm not
I
talking
really
about
want
the
to.
podcast. Sorry.
No, I know,
Okay.
but I really want to be caught up by the time that we're like doing spooky stuff. So like,
Okay.
I'm gonna try.
Oh yeah, good point. Because otherwise these will come out in like November. Or
November.
something. Yeah. I didn't
yeah,
think about that.
So
We'll listen to them
So, yeah,
for
we'll-
Skip 'em.
Halloween next year, I
Skip
guess.
them.
You could-
Skip them and just.
You
release
could
them.
release
Yeah.
release
Yeah.
the ones that we have in the queue now after like October's over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you'll have a
Yeah.
backlog.
Eh,
And you'll have some
It'd
we'll
be
just
a
do a
little-
memento type thing where like it'll be just to
yeah, there'd be a
Yeah.
little bit of like, wait, he's recommending movies that they did last month. But okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Remember we have socials on all the stuff: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We have a YouTube channel where we post the VODs. So give us a follow on all those. There will be duds on all that shit. And then Nick, were you gonna say something? Or
I was just gonna make a joke. We're still streaming on Twitch for now until they get their shit together.
yeah.
Did you notice that we got like 10 more follow bots? They're not even
Oh,
hosts.
did we
They're
really?
like, yeah, no, we got like 10 of them, and it was like GUN 10, Gun 18, GUNE 7, GUND 8, GUNB 9, Gunk 2. Like we just got a shitload of
That sounds like James Gunn because we shit. Or
Yeah.
I did.
and like I was literally about to like just remove the follower like thing from OBS,
Yeah.
and then Connor followed us on Big
Oh.
Vanilla. So I was like, well, okay, I guess you just made it before I got rid of it.
Damn.
Man,
Yeah, that's
Xfinity
what I
and
did.
Twitch, a match made in heaven. Two great platforms.
That's what I did for my my Twitch page. I made it so that like there was a cutoff number. If I got to 69 followers, that was it. Like it was gonna be an exclusive club. You're either in the first 69 or you're not, and you're on the outside. So we could do something like that, but maybe for 19 because we're not going to get to 69. I don't think.
All right. Well, we're in the 20s already. If we're counting the ones we did before the podcast, but
This is 18 for me.
the dark. Oh wait. Oh, we're
Yeah.
talking about followers. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about episodes for some reason. I'm stupid.
Oh no.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If we're good to go. I am
Yeah.
your slinky cat that slinks on your belly, and I undo that into your mouth. and
That's two things. You can't take two things.
no, that's the cat.
The slinky
He
cat
burps.
that slinks onto your belly.
I'm
and
the
burps.
cat. I'm the cat
Okay, I
that slinks
guess
into
he's
your
slinks
onto your
on
belly.
She's
and
got the stinky drinky.
yeah, and I burp in your mouth. And my name's Midnight, but I also go by TJ, and I also go by J Spot Jack Cheese. And with me as always,
I am your 2004 long-haired new metal fan that lives across the street from you in my apartment / fifth-story bar that's open till 5 a.m.
that the first.
aka
No, sorry.
aka Nick, aka Dr. Funk on Twitch.
I was
That's
saying.
method right there.
I was saying at first that was you. Like you were actually
Yeah.
describing yourself.
Yeah. Hey, I got credited as System of a Down fan.
Yeah.
I'm your no ass having leather pants wearing Halle Berry, aka Travis, aka the Super General.
I am your guy who lives somewhere in the area that parks his bike right outside your apartment window and leaves the keys in it all the time, but doesn't care enough about it to do anything besides say, "Hey, that's my bike," and then let you have it. Also known as Deegs.
And I'm your special against the grain Catwoman loving guest, Kelly, aka what is it, Kelte 1023?
Yeah, sure. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
We don't have
I like that we're slowly getting longer and longer with our I am your blah blah blahs. That like it's gonna become a new like movie review wrap up rating thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our like Talking Dead or like our
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
this is our Munch Squad.
That's it. See you guys in your dream warriors dreams.
Next week.
Bye bye. Oh, perfect timing for Isaiah to come into the fucking podcast again. Bye.